Everybody loves it. And I've literally, this is the furthest I've ever been. I'm about an hour and a half in, and I've never been this
And you're
far.
really enjoying it?
It's blowing my mind.
It's fantastic.
I got into Metroid at the Prime series, so I'm hearing all these nods and all these references, and I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, Metroid Prime is what it is because of Super Metroid. Now I'm like seeing that.
So let me ask you this, and if you need more time into the game, that's understandable. But what you've been playing so far, the rumors had been going around at one point that Super Metroid could possibly be remade and brought to the Switch. Do you think that game should be remade? Maybe bringing some of the updates they made with Fusion and Zero Mission to it? Or do you think they should leave it alone and make a new 2D game?
No, they don't. I don't think they have to touch it. Like maybe some quality of life stuff that they added for Zero Mission.
Yeah.
Like the map is a lot better in Zero Mission and stuff, but don't touch much else really.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I prefer a new
that's
title.
my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have a brand new or
Fusion 2?
Yeah, like a brand new Fusion 2. Super Metroid. Although a Samus Return style Super Metroid would be pretty dope, but they would have to change so much of it. I don't know if fans would be happy about it.
Fans are never happy. We know this.
True.
All right.
True.
So, Jesse, thank you. Can't hear you. But I can see we're live on Twitch.
Now you can hear me.
Okay, yeah, I can hear us there. Okay, cool.
Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you there, and I can hear us on stream. So, hello, stream. We got 6 viewers.
Welcome.
Now we can hear you. Yes. So this is the first time Dinner Table's been live. It's always just been recorded in the Discord community, and then we post it out as a podcast. But this is exciting for me because this is the community's podcast. Essentially, anybody from the community can join and talk about whatever we have at the dinner table. So if this is the first time you've been a part of this, especially for the viewers on Twitch or YouTube, the basic idea of the dinner table is like what you do in your home, or around the holidays. You come together at a dinner table and you talk about stuff, right? You talk about all kinds of stuff. And there's a theme behind the dinner table where the topics we talk about follow a dinner theme. Maybe more so a restaurant dinner theme, but it still kind of follows that theme where appetizers are smaller chunks of what we would be talking about, quick little topics and stuff like that. And then we get into the main dish. So we have a main dish tonight, which is the main topic of show and tell. Basically, you get to show off what you got for Christmas, some of the things you got there, or if you prefer, maybe something you're really proud of in your collection that you want to show. It's up to you guys. Show and tell. And then for dessert, Jesse and I figured we would talk about a topic we didn't get to talk about too much yesterday in the Nintendo Dads show, and that is the news that came about from GameStop. The 2 new executives that were added to the board. So we'll go into more details about that. So, but it's gonna be a fun night because we're doing this for Gaming for Guru. All this weekend we're raising money for Nintendo Guru because he's been in the hospital since Halloween of last year, and to a point to where he had been into a medical induced coma, to slow things down a bit, but he's out of it from what I understand. He had been smiling, sticking his tongue out at people, sounding like the good old Guru we know. Just obviously there's going to be some real rehabilitation involved. He's one of the people that got COVID bad. So we're wishing him well, and we're trying to raise some money to help with those medical expenses of being in the hospital for that long. So we would appreciate if anybody who's watching throws a few bucks out to the Guru. You go to bit.ly/gaming for guru. You can see it here at the bottom of the screen, right below, down there in the white bar.
How much have y'all raised so far, Tim?
We've got $14,060 so far. So, and
Whoa!
Well,
we're hoping.
this was a pre-existing campaign. It didn't start at 0. So at the start of today, it was about 11,000. So all of our efforts today has earned $3,000.
Yep. And even though I think with us talking about it leading up to this point, had brought some more funds in as well too,
and then
for this weekend, because we were below 10,000 before we started this.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we started streaming, that's when we were around the $11,000 mark.
And then if you also want to buy any merch, like the shirts he's wearing, the shirt I should be wearing, but I'm not, there's a TeePublic and a Redbubble link also on the bottom middle of the display. That any proceeds from that, and his button, any proceeds from that will also go into this fund.
And I have to mention this too. I put the button up here on my hat because I always teased Guru about his Yankees hat. I told him he had to get one of these, a Detroit Tigers hat. And he just was like, no, you need to get a Yankees hat. I was this close to getting a Yankees hat just for this weekend, but I didn't get a chance to get to the store. So best thing I could do is just put this here and just, hopefully if he's got enough energy, maybe he's watching. Who knows? But hopefully you get
not,
well
we'll have
soon.
hours of archived information for him to watch later.
He'll have plenty to watch later, yes. So
Yeah, get well, man.
yes. Anything you guys want to say to the Guru or anybody watching? Go for it.
No, just thinking about you, dude. There's a great community that's behind you. We're wishing you well and hope you get better.
I don't know him that well, but he was on like the first or second episode of our stupid Animal Crossing podcast that Nick and I started, and Sean, and like nobody was listening, and like the Nintendo dads were like, sure, do an Animal Crossing podcast, whatever. And Guru came on and was just
No, wait. I gotta stop you right there before you go further. I know you're getting to that point, but when you guys want to do Animal Crossing, what you're still doing, the Dad Crossing, which Nick and Sean are doing now. But when you guys said that, we were like, yes, that's awesome. Do it. That's more of the reaction.
Yeah, and episode 20
from the dad.
Episode 24 will drop in 4 hours.
It's a great podcast. My point is, our second episode when nobody was listening, Bobby came on and was just the best guest anybody could hope for, and from that point on, I was a super fan of his. So, just such a great dude. Please get better. Please come back.
Yeah, he also had a series of Animal Crossing podcasts of his own. I think was it Breaking Bells.
Yes. Yep. And he had been doing Break long before the game came out, leading up to the release, just talking about what some of the things he was hoping for, some of the things he wanted to do when it came out.
Trailer breakdown. Yeah.
He's a huge Animal Crossing fan, and he was one of those people who was skeptical of the game too. And what drew him in was one of the older versions that allowed you to play a lot of the old Nintendo games within, an Animal Crossing game. So it's really cool to hear that story of him getting that game, and he's a huge Nintendo fan. So, and I've been honored to work with him as well on a few occasions. So it's been exciting to do that. And just like the Nintendo dads, being a fan and listening to them, I listened to a lot of his stuff, especially the latest stuff of the cafe one that they have there. I forget the name of it right now, but the Nintendo Cafe one that they do.
Cup of Joe and Nintendo.
Thank you very much. Yes, Cup of Joe and Nintendo. That's one of my. I like what they did there, because they stopped the other show that they were doing, If We Ran Nintendo, which I was surprised but they felt like, well, there's nothing more we can do, and we've already talked about between him and Sean. They would always talk about things that they could do about If We Ran Nintendo, but then change the format to something I think is very spectacular, where it's just like a couple guys sitting in a coffee shop having a conversation about Nintendo. And so I just thought that was brilliant. And so anything that he's done has always impressed me. And so can't wait till he gets back on it, you know?
Yeah, his voice is missed. My son Preston, peace out Preston's actually been like, when's his next video coming out? And I'm like, it's still gonna be a while. He's still in the hospital, so.
Right. Maybe your son needs to do a video that hopefully they can pass on to him. And
well, thanks to Bobby, my he put it this way: Preston did this Lego camp over break, and during the thing, he goes, "I want to do a video of discussing it." So my wife got her camera out and recorded a video, and he goes, he starts with, "Here we go." He goes, "Here we go," and does this whole thing. If anyone knows Bobby, it's always "Here we go."
Yeah.
And then at the end, he goes, "Make sure you slap that like button down below." And I'm just like,
nice.
like, you don't even have a YouTube channel. He's like, "But I'm going to." So
nice. Did he say "Peace out, Bobby"?
no, he did not. I was trying to tell him to say "Peace out, me," but it didn't work like that.
All right. Oh yes, thanks, Joey. He also called out the Cup of Joe and Nintendo. Yes, just whatever reason that slipped my mind, but maybe it's because it's been too long. Need to get an episode of that out. Come on, Bobby, get out of that hospital and give us an episode.
Someone bring a mic in.
Yeah, there we go. Who knows? He probably would do that too. It would be Sean telling him what he needs to do for a mobile.
Yeah, Bob, if you're gone long enough, instead of You, Me, and Capri, there's going to be an episode of You, Me, and Grouchy. So you might want to get out of that before we ruin that, because, you know, Grouchy and I ruined that one episode of If We Ran Nintendo so bad that they had to hire Jason Lacey to come in, so.
That's funny. So, yes, with that, we'll move along with our show. Of course, we'll always bring up Bobby because we want to make sure if you're watching. And it looks like we got actually a few donations there. We're up to $14,110 now. So it's about $50 that was added there. So thank you very much, whoever donated that. Appreciate it. And any other viewers watching along, please, you know, again, if every few bucks helps go a long way. So with that, let's start with our appetizer at the dinner table, and which is the Retro Rewind. We usually talk about Retro Rewind, and we actually went through a couple months of the last game we picked as a community, which was Super Mario 3, Super Mario Brothers 3, which is a really good game in its own right on the Nintendo, and a lot of people might think it was not a regular NES game just because of how much they put into that game. In fact, I didn't get a chance to play it until the Super Nintendo All-Stars version, because that, again, I didn't have a Nintendo. I wanted one when I was a kid, but I couldn't get one, and I didn't get a Nintendo system of my own until Super Nintendo. And then, of course, when All-Stars came out, that's when I got to go back and play the games I missed out on. So for those who did play Super Mario or have memories of it, now's our chance to talk about it, and then we'll go into where Retro Rewind goes from here. Who wants to go first?
So I didn't have the original Nintendo, but my first console was the SNES. So I have fond memories of this game through All Stars on the SNES. So that's how I didn't experience So I didn't actually experience the original game in its original format till much later. And so my fondness is for those kind of remastered or updated versions that came out on the SNES. Absolutely love this game. This and World are my two favorite 2D Mario games. So absolutely fond memories of this one.
Yep, again, same boat. Between this one and World, definitely top Mario games for me as well.
I detailed my history with the game last month, so I won't go over that again. But I'll add that I tried playing it earlier this week, and I just wasn't in the mood. I don't know why, but you know, just the physics in that game is just so different than any other Mario game that have been released recently. You really have to get used to that again, and I think I was already upset from playing Dicey Dungeons and getting sick of that game that I'm like, okay, I can't do this now. So, and then I ended up then cutting that over to playing through Zelda 2, and most of the way through that. So I tried playing 3, but Mario 3, but didn't get far.
You didn't get frustrated in Zelda 2?
Yeah,
I'm not at the point where I get frustrated. I can do the first 6 dungeons with minimal problems, but then getting to the final dungeon is the problem.
it's not often I hear, "Oh, this game is frustrating. I'm gonna play Zelda 2 instead."
I've never been the normal person in the group. If you listen to me long enough, you know that.
I'll just say I talked a lot about my history with the game in the last dinner too, but I'll just reiterate that I was the right age, I was the target demographic. I loved every second of it. It is my favorite Mario game of all time, and yeah, I mean, everything from the Wizard, the Wizard movie, that hour and a half commercial, and to the game itself, the strategy guides, drawing out the answers to the flip the card game to get all the items.
Well, I just used Nintendo Power that had the answers already there. So
Yeah,
like,
had all the patterns.
Yeah,
there was one card that would tell you which pattern it is, and then you can just spam it.
yeah. I didn't have the guide until a little later. So first I had to write them all out and figure that out, and then later on getting the guide, and oh yeah, I love that game. I can gush about it forever, but I won't.
It was
It's probably
for. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, after you.
All right. So yeah, it's probably my third favorite Mario game, with Super Mario World probably being the best. But it's the best one, obviously, on the NES. Everyone knows about the Wizard and everything, as it was already said, but I will never forget when it was like, oh, it's coming to the Play Choice 10, like weeks before the game was to be released, going to the Children's Palace toy store to date myself, and if anyone knows what remembers Children's Palace.
Children's Palace. Oh my gosh.
And going over there, standing in line, 14 people deep, waiting like 30 minutes so you can put your quarter in to get your, 6 minutes of playtime on the Play Choice 10? Yeah. And just every time you go to play the Play Choice 10, you can only get to, World 1-3, the one where it's all grassy with the Goombas, because that's all the time you had.
So, like, as typically, you get your groomsmen kind of like some gifts before you get married. So, like, my younger brother was one of my best men at our wedding, and I had gotten him an artist rendition of the second world map of Mario 3. And so, like, that's something that I don't know. So him and I are always connected on this game specifically. What are some of your guys' favorite maps in that game, or like favorite or memorable levels?
World 4 all the way.
Yeah.
The first time ever getting to see giant, Goombas and everything else. I mean, it's not a big deal now.
Wicked cool.
It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen on Nintendo outside of Zelda.
I was going to say the same thing.
I was pretty blown away by the whole airship concept, and they're all over every world in that game, but
right.
The first time you run into it and you're like, and the world is not only moving back and forth on its own, it's moving up and down, and you're constantly having to dodge stuff, and somehow Nintendo's so good at like making you feel really good at platforming until you screw up. So the cannons are so strategically always placed where it's like, oh, there's always this one path you can go to like run through the whole level, and you feel like such a badass when you finally nail it. Those levels really stick out in my mind as a very distinct Mario 3 experience that just is so cool.
And just awesome music too to those levels.
Yeah.
I have a particular
Yeah.
I have a particular fondness for World 3 because the swimming, the frog mirrors, it was different. The unique swimming mechanic that it had. But it also could be super frustrating with some of the other levels. I don't remember the name, but they had the giant fish that would jump out of the water and eat you in one bite. It wouldn't matter if you had the mushroom power or the fire power. You were one swallow and you were gone.
Yes.
Wasn't that
Big
called
Bertha.
Big Bertha
I think
or
that's her
something?
name. Big Bertha. Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
I remember that level being really difficult with the frog suit, making it almost worse.
The swimming levels were great with the frog suit. That was really all good for.
Yeah,
and then
the
you
frog
wanted to
suit
get rid
out
of
of
it
water really hindered your
It was
movement.
useless. Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Bertha levels, you wanted to make. I mean, you fall in that water, you're just frantically hitting that button to jump out, as back onto safe ground before she just. Boom.
Though
I just remember the frog suits being hard to control even in the water, like when because you were super fast.
There was one. I haven't ever done this myself, but I remember seeing a YouTube video on it. If you beat a particular boss with a frog suit on, then like the transformed king will kind of make a comment thinking that you've been transformed into a frog.
I think you could, if you beat it with like the one of the other suits too, you get kind of a similar thing. Not the traditional raccoon suit, but the other Tanuki. Yeah, I think it gets you a different.
Tanuki.
But at least the frog one is
Hammer Brothers
substantially harder.
Hammer Brothers suit, yes, the Hammer Brothers suit is just—it's the most overpowered suit, and it's just awesome.
The whole game is just full of secrets everywhere. Like all those power-ups, you can go through the whole game without even like finding them. I know I did. I did not know the hammer suit existed for such a long time, and then when I found one, I was afraid to use it. I'm like, is this the only one?
Right. I got
really paranoid about.
Well, like you didn't get it,
and I had a lot of I got it earlier because of the e-reader. I had the e-reader when I played on this Game Boy Advance, and that was my favorite version of playing Super Mario 3 on the Game Boy Advance with the e-reader, because you had the cards that you could if you had the hammer suit card, and you had the hammer suit whenever you wanted, pretty much.
There's how there's if you're on a slope, push down, you start sliding. But if you're in a hammer roller suit, and you push down, even if you're on a slope, you just kind of tuck into the shell. But there's like two places in the games where if you're mid-slide and then collect the suit, that slide continues. So, they've drawn pixel art for a sliding Hammer Brothers suit that you can only see for maybe 10 frames in the entire game.
Yeah. Can we just agree that as a set that these are the best power-ups in any Mario game? Come on. Gotta admit it.
They are some of the best.
Dan, you don't agree.
Just a tough call.
I can see it on your face.
When there's a penguin suit, I'm a little, it's just that the penguin suit got me hard. I don't know what it was.
I'm a big fan of Ice Mario from Galaxy.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying as a whole, like there's some
all
great
of them
suits in other ones, but as just a set, and maybe it was just because it was the first thing we'd seen Mario do besides, in a Super Mario game, besides fire, was being able to all of a sudden you're a frog, you're flying as a raccoon, you're turning into a statue, you're a Hammer Brother. It's just.
I think the inventory in that game.
Between Mario 3 and Mario 64, those two have the most, probably like the highest number of different power-ups aside from just Fire Flower and whatever. So I think it's between those two.
You don't like the Spring Mushroom power-up?
Or the propeller cap?
Jesse, just stop.
Didn't Mario 64 only have 3 power-ups?
I don't know.
Yeah, but they were awesome.
Yeah, Flight Cap was good. The rest of them came.
Once you learned how to control it, it was not intuitive.
Listen, there's a reason that they
agree to disagree.
Reused the power-ups from 3 over and over and over again.
And there's a reason why we didn't get any of the ones from N64 ever again.
Well, I mean, you even look at like
Wingcap should come back.
World. You even look at World, and the cape is basically the raccoon tail again. Like it
Pretty
works
much, yeah.
largely
Maybe
the same
slightly
way.
different mechanic. I mean, physics, but yeah, basically.
They've reused Metal Mario and Mario Kart games.
They added
kind of
Yoshi.
went backwards in. We kind of went backwards in World as far as power-ups go, if you think about it, because yes, we got the feather, but we lost some other stuff, and that was it, right? Just
We
the
also
feather.
got Yoshi.
Yeah, as I said, they made up for it with Yoshi.
You got Yoshi, absolutely, and the different Yoshis did have different abilities themselves.
Yeah, that was huge.
So I guess,
So-
yeah, you can count that.
The thing about Mario
But
3,
everyone doesn't bring up the best part. The boot. Jumping in the boot and being able to
Well,
go.
yeah, there
Yeah.
you go, the boot.
So Mario 3, my favorite part and most memorable thing isn't anything that is in Mario 3. It's that at the start screen, you can go into the original Mario Brothers game, and my cousin and I would do this and just play that like over and over again.
You could do that from the map if you were playing two players.
Mm-hmm.
You could challenge each other and grab each other's cards from the end of the levels.
I think you can trade lives around as well. Like if one person's almost out of lives, but the other one's got 50, I think you can give lives so they don't get a game over.
I thought that didn't come out until the new Super Mario Brothers games, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
You can do it in World.
I never played
World
two players
recently.
anymore with Mario 3. So
Yeah, I know. I tried a few times, but my brother didn't like playing with me.
So
Tony in the chat also says that was World.
So episode 14 of John and I's podcast, Retro Logic, we actually did a Game of the Year show for the year of 1990. And I mean, 1990 is a pretty crazy year for games. You've got just to name a few, you've got Final Fantasy, you've got Dr. Mario, you've got Mario 3, you've got Turtles 2, the arcade game, Castle of Illusion, Moonwalker, the Turtles
3.
Game Boy game, Castlevania 3,
Mega
I'm going to
Man
forget
3.
that one again. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers,
DuckTales,
Gargoyle's Quest, Final Fantasy Legend. So it was not a sleeper year for games, but Mario 3 pretty much took every award that it could possibly win. So it's just it's pretty insane. Just the even today the impact of that game.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it's I always found it interesting too between that and World because of how close they were together in development, right? So it seems like that there's still some things that I see in World when I play it that, show what they've learned from 3 or vice versa.
I mean, I think we talked about it before, but yeah, I mean, they were playing World in Japan when we got Super Mario 3 here.
Yes. Yep.
In the U.S.
Yeah. I'm so glad we got away from that. I mean, there's times where we still have, the bigger games, or not bigger games, but more JRPG type games that do take a little longer to bring over here. But it seems like we've gotten away from the Japan gets it first, and then we get it a year later because of translation or whatever.
Super Mario 3 had real heavy, localization.
The whole localization, man, takes forever.
Last game I remember doing that was the Xenoblade Chronicles X, like a really big, noticeable, like year plus distance between us and Japan.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for Dragon Quest X.
Well, I think the other one that was that's taken a while.
For Mother 3.
Yes, we all are.
I will be
start
90 before Mother 3 ever happens.
Well, that
Grandmother
Persona
3.
Scramble is another example of the games that are taking a while to bring over, right? They already had Scramble over in Japan for a while.
Yeah, it's been about almost a year.
So, yeah. Still get it every once in a while, but Strikers, yes. Sorry, Mecha Dragon's correcting me. It's Strikers, not Scramble anymore.
Well, it's still Scramble in Japan. I count it.
Oh, did they change it to be a soccer game?
Yes, it's now Striker.
I might actually play that.
Persona Soccer.
They just cloned Mario Strikers.
Yeah.
If it's 3-on-3 soccer, we can...
There we go.
Coming
Yeah,
next
hey,
year,
you know,
Persona Party and
Just
Persona
watch out
Kart.
when they summon Mara.
From Next Level Games, now owned by Nintendo.
So now that we've got, this is like the second month we've talked about Super Mario 3, but there's definitely more of you that weren't here last month that didn't get to talk about it this time. So, but now that we're ready to move on, I alluded to this a couple months ago when we talked about Super Mario 3 being in it, that there would be a change coming in the new year for Retro Rewind. And that change is coming along with what you guys have heard along the way, that we now have joined up with Retro Logic. These guys know all kinds of retro stuff, right? So if you guys have been listening to them, and or if you haven't, please give them a listen, especially for our new viewers that are out there watching us live on the streams. Retro Logic is out there, and you guys do some amazing stuff on what you talk about in regards to retro games. It's not just about your nostalgia for it, but it's actually a little bit of history behind it, a little bit of because it is your store, Dan, you're talking about some of the value behind those games, right? So, and whether you have it in your store or not, you guys appreciate the value of a lot of these games, whether they're in your collection or in your store, or you're hoping to add them eventually. And I really like your game, The Price is your knockoff of The Price is Right game. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah. But with that, with the discussion of Retro Logic being, we're partnering up with them to help us with Retro Rewind. We wanted to get, part of my goal with Retro Rewind was to get it back into the Nintendo dads, way of doing things, I guess. The getting it into back into the community, because it's a game that everybody plays together, kind of like what you guys do on your side, right? Because I think you guys do something similar where you guys pick a game as a community and play it. But we can only play so many Nintendo retro games, right? So there's plenty of other retro games that we don't get to play, and but it's still community based, and that's something that we always saw Retro Logic doing, and we wanted to ask them to say, hey, we got Retro Rewind, would you guys mind taking it over and going running with it? So that's Dan, take it away. I'll give it to you and John there.
Thanks. Yeah, we're really excited about it, and as far as our content goes, there's a lot more zeal behind what we do than actual head knowledge. There's a lot more beforehand research that happens, and if you hit me up with a question off the cuff, 99% of the time I'm not going to know what the heck you're talking about. So don't try to test my off the cuff knowledge. But we're super zealous about it, and we love retro, which is why John and I even started the podcast to begin with, why I started the store. And one of the things that and Tim said this, but it's kind of a half truth, that we don't have anything going on in our community that's really heavy community focused as far as let's all play the same game kind of thing. We have a segment called Crossplay, where I challenge John to play a game he's never played, and he challenges me to play a game I've never played. And the community can play along with us if they want to, but there's nothing there's no book club style aspect to it where we come together and talk about the game together, and we're all in it together. Because a lot of those games are not the easiest games to play. Last month, I made John play Shadows of the Empire for the N64, which is, I guess it's on Steam, but how are you gonna get a retro community?
Fantastic game.
You know what I mean? If I challenge him to play Earth, that's something just a weird go play Gotcha Force, John. See if you can find a copy. Yeah,
Clock.
Plock.
Yeah.
Just obscure stuff that's not on Nintendo Switch Online. that would be difficult for a huge group of people to play. So one of the things, like Tim said, one of the things that we really want to do is try to incorporate a lot more Sega Genesis, maybe some PlayStation, just stuff that's easily available. You might have to spend a couple bucks to get it if you want to play with us, but it's not just Nintendo focused. So that's kind of the vision behind it, and we're gonna make it part of our rotating roster of stuff we do on Retro Logic, and you're still going to be able to access all of that stuff in the Nintendo Dads Discord through the Retro Rewind channel. And if you want to get deeper into stuff, Retro Logic has its own Discord community. If you want Plock memes galore, that's the place to go. That's really that's all that's.
And that's the other thing that I appreciate too, because there's such a huge retro community, right? So, and that's where I think you guys tap into a lot better than I could ever do. And I think the Nintendo Dads did tap into it, because a lot of the people who follow the Nintendo Dads have that nostalgia for a lot of the older games, right? Because we're a lot of the dads who grew up with Nintendo stuff, so we like playing those old games we grew up on and have nostalgia for. But at the same time, we're dads who still work and have, our day jobs, and we want to be able to play a lot of these. Like, I'm going to speak for myself, obviously, where a lot of these retro games I want to dive back into and play. Unfortunately, I don't have the time right now. And it hurts not being able to play those, plus be able to play newer games, and then be able to do more things with the community. So I felt like I wasn't doing Retro Rewind the justice that it needed, especially for the fans of retro games, right? So, and that's why you can hang out here in the Retro Rewind channel and be probably content with the things that are going on there, with just touching on some of those older games that you guys played before. Or if you love retro games and want to dive into in your collector and all those kind of things that these guys have been into and still are, that definitely their channel is the one to go to. And anybody who's into that kind of thing, I always say, hey, yeah, go check out Retro Logic. They're definitely more heavy into the retro stuff than the Retro Rewind stuff. So, and in fact, John has helped me prior months last year with doing some videos. He created some great videos on some of the Retro Rewind games that we did at the time. Like, we have those on our YouTube channel, by the way. You can still check that out. John, remind me where you did, like 3 of them, right? You did one for Yoshi's Island,
Donkey Kong Country, and I think I got one done for Kirby.
Yeah.
Dream World or Dreamland 3.
Yes, and they were, they're very. There's a lot of information and a little bit of time that you had there, which I was very appreciative of. So, and it kind of gave me the vibes of, like little video, historical type, video game history there that you can learn about the game that you're playing. So I always like those type of things, and that hinted at some of the things that we'd hoped we could do more of. That I hope that you guys will be able to take. Move Retro Rewind beyond where it has been in the past.
For sure.
Move Rewind forward.
Yes.
Yeah, fast forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the last crossplay we did kind of experiment with getting the community a little more involved with our anniversary of Mega Man celebration. We did a Mega Mandom. We played 4 Mega Man games that we randomly selected by the roll of a die, and had quite a few people that played with us and gave feedback, and we shared on the show. So
yeah,
we definitely have a hunger for it.
That was a lot of fun. You guys got Marty involved with that too, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and Sam.
Yep, always down for Mega Man.
Nice. So so be on the lookout for a lot of what Dan and John have coming forward in February for Retro Rewind. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add to that before we move on to the next thing?
No, I think that's about it. We're starting in February, so the first episode in February, which of Retro Logic, which will be the first Tuesday, whatever the first Tuesday is, you'll know before we start what game it is. We're gonna start by just picking the games ourselves, and before we roll out like voting. Leaning real heavy into some Sega stuff, so we'll see how that goes. But
the Sega collection is also on sale right now for anybody that doesn't have it. Kind of wink, wink that you might want to pick it up.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think I might have to go do that right now.
Also, the Konami collections, Castlevania and Contra, are both like $5 right now. So definitely, if you don't have those, they're definitely worth a pickup.
That's crazy. I have the Castlevania one, so I'm good there. But definitely, what about the Konami arcade one that they had there? Arcade collection. Do you know if that was on sale?
I'll have to look. I've seen Contra and Castlevania for sure.
Okay.
So definitely find out.
The collections are always on my list. I would prefer the physical version, but those are harder to find.
But right now, I don't think Konami ones do.
This is a Sega Genesis Classics. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet.
And that's something
Shining Force
I haven't
1 and 2
quite.
is all I'm gonna say.
It's only it's $14.99 right now.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about having the game chosen for you versus having like a list of games you have to choose and whatever? Because I always feel like going with the most popular game isn't always the best thing. Like maybe we could switch it up where like some months we're just gonna play this and that's just what we're gonna do, or some months you guys can vote. Maybe we'll switch it up a little bit and see how that.
I kind of like getting you guys kind of laying it out for us. It's kind of interesting. It's new. Like I'm sure there would be things that I hadn't played before. I don't know. I kind of like that approach.
Yeah, we did that. That's the way we did it both ways as well. So
then it's kind of more like a recommendation from you guys. Like, hey, here's a retro game you need to play.
To answer your question, Tim, yes, the arcade collection is also $5 right now.
I'm on the flip side. I like to get with the community and pick what game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we'll do both probably.
There's like a funness to being able to like come together and decide as well.
Yeah,
democracy's awesome.
By the way, I'm sorry if
Until
I'm
it isn't.
distracted. I'm buying my Sega.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good collection.
No, I
just want to play
I like that
Shining
idea,
Force again.
Yeah.
Do both.
How much is the Genesis collection right now?
15.
Yes, 15.
Yeah,
bucks.
there's like 40 games on that thing, and at least 10 of them are really, really good. So it's totally it's worth
at least 10.
Well, that's the thing with collections. You can't get 100% good ones.
50 titles.
I'm waiting.
50 titles.
With Sega, you can't get 100% good one.
Yeah.
Even though it's on sale, I'm waiting here if my wife will text me like, "What's the Nintendo purchase right now?"
1999.
If Toe Jam and Earl is on there, then you're always getting a good deal. That's my opinion.
I mean, 10
Sonic,
10 games
Streets of
for
Rage
15
2.
bucks is better than it was on back in the Wii and Wii U days when we were buying them.
This is 50 titles.
You know,
dude.
on the
Yeah,
that's a pretty good deal.
50 games.
No, I mean even just the good 10, just 10 good ones.
Oh, just the good 10.
Is anyone curious of the games that's on there? I got the list
I only
right
see
here.
a couple of them. Yeah, like Fantasy Star series.
Yeah, Alex Kidd, Biohazard. I'm just jumping through a few columns. Dynamite Heady. There's a blast from the past, no pun intended. Golden Axe, Golden Axe 2 and 3. Gunstar Heroes, Kid Chameleon, Fantasy Star 2, 3, and 4. Rystar, that's a very underrated game, by the way. Shining Force 1 and 2, Shinobi 3, Sonic 1 and 2, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic Spinball, Streets of Rage, all 3 of them. Toe Jam and Earl, and Panic on Funkatron, Vector Man games, Virtua Fighter 2. That's not all the games. I'm just a quick rundown. So
There's
15 bucks well spent.
That's 15 bucks I'm about to spend.
I wish I could
Honestly,
get the
just for
physical
Shining
for
Force 1 and 2,
$15.
it's worth it.
Yeah,
because especially if you like Fire Emblem.
Is that opens so much up to us with Retro
For
Rewind
sure.
to be able to
Yeah.
say like, we're we're gonna all play Gunstar Heroes, and it's an amazing game that everybody needs to play. So like, there's going to be no voting. Like, we're just going to play that, So
please play Rise Star. That game is so underrated.
Yeah, I love Rise Star.
The soundtrack's fantastic.
I'm a huge Sonic head. I'm a big Dynamite Heady fan. So there's going to be some weird stuff coming. So get ready.
And I'll definitely throw some more reminders on all the Discords to pick up some of these retro collections while they're on sale.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for taking this on, and I'm excited for what you guys do. Because again, like I said, I am nowhere near what you guys are doing. Even though you guys are saying you're not as near as what you think you should be. I think you guys are great at what you guys are doing. So thank you very much. And we're looking forward to the future of Retro Rewind.
Yes.
So, and I got it off to the side. I'll go purchase that one later. Probably a lot of those.
Yeah,
because they're on sale.
$5 is hard to beat, especially for the Castlevania and Contra.
I'm picking both of those
Castlevania
up. I just bought them because they're not going to get cheaper than that.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. So with that, let's move on to our main dish. And the main dish for tonight, for the table, is show and tell. Basically sharing some of the favorite things that we got for Christmas or the holidays, or maybe just whatever's in your collection. If you got something that's really cool that you've been dying to share with the community, and this is a good opportunity to do that. Or if you don't have anything to share on your camera, certainly talk about it and share it with us that way as well. We'll each get a chance to go. And I will Vincent, do you have anything you want to share? I'll start with you if you've got something you want to share. I don't know if there's a lag or if he's still there.
I don't think I've heard Vin this whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, I'm going down the list here. So Matt, do you have anything you want to share in the show and tell? Or we can always come back to you too if you need to. And maybe I called him out when he's stepped away for a moment. All right, third time's a charm. Sam, you got something you want to share?
I do, and it's a good transition because it is a retro game that has probably been overlooked, and it just arrived today. Not really a Christmas gift. I did get money for Christmas, so you could say I spent the money on this.
Nice.
But finally arrived today, and it is Odama for the GameCube. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that.
Yes!
I actually got Dan on the Price is Retro with that game.
There we go.
Game. It is one of my favorite stupid Nintendo games ever made.
It's actually the last Nintendo published GameCube game, if you don't count Twilight Princess, because that's also a Wii game.
The game was very...
Tell
it was
people
everywhere.
What's the premise?
Let's see here. A unique combination of pinball and military war game. Puts your reflexes and your strategy to the test.
I was like,
Okay.
Not only
a pinball game.
It also requires a GameCube microphone.
I thought that was the one that used the microphone, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Okay.
They had a fancy big box version of this game that sat at a I don't know if you guys had Hastings. It was like a bookstore. I used to see it there all the time at the end of the GameCube era. It never would go anywhere, but it was huge. It's like it had like I don't know if it had a guide with it or something, but it was just a big cardboard box version of it.
I like that cover art.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The thing about Odama is that you're playing pinball while yelling at your troops into this microphone and like telling them what to do. So
how responsive is that?
No,
It's not.
Not.
It's the GameCube.
I
That's
mean,
not very
I
much at
haven't
all.
That's what I'm
played it
thinking.
yet
I'm like, this can't
because
be
I'm still
responsive.
waiting on my microphone.
Is
But
it
I'm
like,
guessing about as responsive as Hey You Pikachu was.
Yes, I was gonna say, is it like Hey You Pikachu or like Nintendogs level of microphone response?
It's probably in between.
Bad. The whole scale's bad.
WeChat.
It's about it. It's very interesting, and it deserves to be preserved and played. So I'm hoping for a Switch re-release.
In Tate mode? Will that work in Tate mode?
Yeah.
On a system that doesn't have a
I mean,
microphone.
it might.
Unless,
another weird
unless it's
peripheral.
Nintendo that comes out with the adapter to go in Tate mode and they put in a
the
microphone
Switch,
built
the Switch
in.
Pro is gonna have a microphone just for this.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
They're just
That'll be a release game for the
Odama
Pro.
HD.
There you go.
The Odama pinball table.
Will you have to use the app?
Yes,
Probably.
you will.
Oh,
that'll
no.
be-
Scan a QR code in order to talk into your phone.
Yes. Yep.
Maybe
There you go.
no. It's you just have a sheet of QR codes and you have to scan the right one at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Oh boy.
Nice. Thanks for sharing, Sam. Let's see. Spider Shan, how about you? What do you got to share with us?
Didn't get a whole lot for Christmas as far as this. More what we got for the kids, but my wife did get me a mini. It's kind of the tabletop-sized version of the one-up Miss Pac-Man machine, which is kind of
Nice.
sitting. Oh, I'm not doing the camera right at all.
It's so there it
close
is.
to where it should be.
There it
Yeah,
is.
right
Nice.
Nice.
So I got that, but one of the things I like to do in my collection is I like to try to get some of the literature that Nintendo has done, like some of the books and comics and that kind of stuff. So I grabbed some of the adventure books. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these, but they were like
Yes, I had that book.
Sweet.
yeah, they're basically choose your own adventure.
They are so
Nintendo
good.
Oh,
size.
that's
I've got,
awesome.
So I've got a couple of the Zelda ones and a couple of the Mario ones.
I might have had a Zelda one as a kid.
Yeah, some of them are starting to go for a little higher price. So I've only got the 4 that I've tracked down for a decent price. Back when we were able to go to Comic-Cons and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Are they in English?
Yeah, they're all in English. I think they're like you could. Somebody was telling me that they thought they were able to find them like at their Scholastic sales and stuff. I never had a cool Scholastic.
That's probably
sale.
where I got it because I think I have had one of those, and it was from a school store.
Yeah, and it was.
I got
I
it
mean,
from
they're
a
just.
Scholastic as a kid.
Yeah,
How many are there? What's like a complete set? How many are there?
I haven't.
I don't think.
You
I
know
don't
what?
think
I've looked
they're-
that up before.
I don't.
I
think
want
they're
to say there's
sold as
like
a set.
maybe 20-ish. I don't remember the exact number. And there's combination like of Zelda ones, Mario ones. I think are the only 2 franchises that they did. But the Mario ones, I know they overlap games. So some of them are Mario 3 based. Some are Mario World based. Yeah, but they're very interesting. And a little piece of history, that I think a lot of people overlook, when it comes to Nintendo stuff.
That's amazing. That's
super cool.
I like seeing that kind of stuff. That's like you said, more obscure, or maybe not everybody got into as much, other than outside of the games. That's pretty cool. Skinny Matt, I'll come back to you since you're back online. You got something you want to share? Did I just lose him again? What the heck happened?
He's messing with you
hung
now,
up.
Tim.
He's like, I'm out.
I accidentally turned off my camera instead of unmuting my mic.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was rubbing it in with the Browns logo.
No. Well, I'm enjoying the season on that. But anyhow, I didn't get a whole lot. My in-laws did buy us $100 of eShop credit. So with that, I did pick up Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and then something to play with my wife to try to expand her horizons a little more. I did buy Children of Morta, because that's a multiplayer co-op RPG, and some Death Squared because it was on sale for 99 cents. You can't see it because I got stuff sitting here. My wife got me this awesome desk pad. So, since I've been streaming and everything, so doesn't make as much noise, and a bunch of beer related stuff such as this gift card from a local beer store, and picked up some Warhorse Brewing. See, that's really gaming related, but
Nice.
Yeah, I played Children of Morta. We put up some of the videos on the Nintendo Dad's YouTube. That's a really fun game. It's got like a little bit of roguelite in it, and it's some RPG stuff. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was kind of recommended to play co-op. I dabbled with it a little on Game Pass, but it was by myself, and I was like, I got the credit, give it a shot. Because with Pikmin 3, if anyone hasn't played it, I had it on the Wii U, and my son and I had always played Bingo Battle all the time. And now my daughter, who's now 5, we've been playing Bingo Battle. So just by doing that, I haven't even started the story mode yet for myself. And the fact that they added co-op on the story mode, which means it really splits and kind of goes through, but yeah, it's worth the pick up on that one.
Cool.
Yeah, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is probably my favorite game on Wii U. So many hours in that thing. I bought it twice for $60, so yeah. I love it.
Like I said, I loved it on my Wii U, but playing it now with my daughter and doing the bingo battle is fantastic. So
I thought your favorite game was Amiibo Festival.
No.
Well, we don't talk about that, John. I told you never to bring that up.
Mario Tennis Ultra Smash is his favorite game.
Yeah, that's my favorite regret.
At least you didn't pick up Troll and I for the Switch.
Almost. I dodged that one.
That's funny. Thank you very much for sharing some of those things there, Matt. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Jesse, on to you, sir. Anything you want to share in the collection or what you got for Christmas?
I do have something. I didn't get this necessarily for Christmas, but I had 2 weeks off of my full-time job, so I used that to work my part-time job as much as I could. I deliver for Amazon sometimes, so I was able to raise all the money I raised in December and early January. I was able to make enough money to buy an item I had my eye on since last year, and it literally came in today.
Ooh.
Elgato 4K 60. So
nice.
So then shortly before I ordered this, I'm realizing I don't think my laptop is strong enough to run this. And the two computers that I have down here that are strong enough to use it, are here and in my arcade cabinet on the other corner, and I would want it in the middle of the room on the other side. So I might have to see if I can get like a long USB cable to play some games with that to make it do what I want it to do, or get another small $500 computer with a graphics card strong enough to do what I want with it. But I'll at least be able to capture PS5 and Xbox content at full resolution and then not know what to do with it.
If it makes you feel better, even if I could capture my stuff at full resolution on my Series X, I can't stream it at it because my internet sucks. So,
see, I have the internet. That's not the problem. So it'll be interesting to see how well that works if I give that a try.
Yeah, Jesse's one of those few people in the world that can get fiber.
Yeah,
it's coming here. It's going to be a few years, but it's coming. And
I have Google Fiber, so it's 1 gig up, 1 gig down. So I have bandwidth.
Yeah, he's spoiled.
I think my son and I each did our own independent live stream at the same time. No frame drops. And both of them at...
I hate you, by the way.
Both of them were 1080p, 60 frames a second.
Yeah. Oh, and Jesse Ubicel says your USB has a max length, so you've been warned.
Yeah, I did see that. I haven't bought anything yet, but so I figured I'd still, spend $10 on a cable and see it fail versus just jumping at buying another $500 PC.
$10 versus $500, yes, makes sense.
You can extend USB through Ethernet. So I'm sure you know that, but that's how we solved that problem at my last church job.
I did not know this.
Yeah, you just get 2 little dongles, one's in, one's out, and then you just run Ethernet between them, and it's not hard.
We'll
talk later.
Like the USB Ethernet adapters I use on the Wii, or is this something else?
No, it's a specific USB extension kit.
Okay, yeah,
we'll talk after.
We'll talk later. I'm interested.
Yeah. Problem solved. There we go.
This is why we do dinner table.
Probably more than $10, but probably less than $500.
Yes.
Yeah, somewhere in between.
This is exactly because this is the fun part about the dinner table is especially the tangents we go on, right? So not so much during the show and tell, but man, we can go on some tangents when we start talking about just I have topics, but then just the tangents we go off on.
On a good day, we have cosines.
Yes.
Nice.
I love seeing the mix of reactions of
Everybody's
that was funny and that was horrible.
Behind his face.
I'm just glad I got the reference.
Yes. We took everybody's just a tiny moment for some.
I did English in college. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, do we have a lot of athletes in this room or what?
A lot of what?
Yeah. What was that, Vincent?
I was saying, do we have a lot of mathletes in this room or what?
Yeah.
Guilty.
More than likely.
Not me.
Hey, Vincent, while we have you, do you have anything
sorry,
you want to
Yeah, sorry you got me audio only tonight.
That's okay. You can verbally share with
pictures are worth words than what I could tell you just over the month.
Paint us a picture, Vin.
I'll do. Well, I had an interesting holiday. It was right around when I started to get all the physical Switch game deals that we scored on Black Friday. Is this anyone else's experience? Like, all of the physical games that I have, I purchased only on Black Fridays. Like last year and this year, all my physical games just came from Black Friday. Everything else that I got in the year was digital. Else's experience
I have a lot of physical, but that was mainly from when I got my Switch. I still had my Best Buy Gamers Club, so it was 20% off straight from the go physical to begin with. So
yeah, like I don't know, like the 2 years ago, after when I first got the Switch, I got Pokemon Shield, Game Black, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. At least one other. I can't remember. Oh, Fire Emblem, 3 Houses. Yes.
Nice.
This year, I got a whole big haul of games. I got Mortal Kombat 11. I've got MV. I've got Trials of Mana. I've got Final Fantasy X, X2. I mean, I went from not have enough games to play to having just this great backlog of all kinds of good stuff and RPGs no less. So I'm gonna be putting in a lot of hours.
Yeah, you got to be careful, man.
It's a dangerous game, man.
Yeah, that's
like this. The bottom shelf is like
which one's the dangerous game?
Physical
Just it doesn't even matter if it's
Physical
physical. It's the JRPG backlog. I feel you. I've been playing Dragon Quest 11 for 6 months, and I still have to do Tales of Vesperia. Yeah. So
Yeah, they never
I
end.
love
It'll be worth
and
it
my
though, Skinny
daughter
Man.
has apparently inherited that. Yeah, my daughter's favorite out of the bunch that we got was Tales of Mana. She had played the Secret of Mana Super Nintendo game, fell in love with it then. So, when she unwrapped that one under the tree, her head about exploded, I think, with joy. So yeah, we've got all kinds of. Oh yeah, also Ghostbusters Remastered. That was another good one. I mean, it didn't take me too long, just like 20 hours or so, but it was, as close to getting a proper Ghostbusters 3 movie as I probably get.
Yeah, that one's a lot of
That
fun.
one
I
on-
like that one. I like that one.
Hmm.
that one's not on my radar. How was that one
Yeah,
on Switch,
definitely. It's pretty good. I think it was it a Wii U release? Was it like maybe a PS3 release or something? Because it definitely had the graphics are of that aesthetic.
Well, they did remaster it, but they had two
Sort of.
different versions. They had one
Mhm.
version that was for the Wii U with the different type of characters, and then they had the version that came out for
Right.
PS3 and Xbox and all that kind of stuff.
And then when they
PS3
remastered it,
PS3
basically
and
the
Wii,
Switch
not
version was
not
Yeah, I was
Wii
gonna
U.
say, I think it was
Right.
Wii and U.
Yeah.
When they
the
remastered
remaster is
it,
basically a 360 port. I heard
Mhm.
roughly.
the remaster more cartoony looking than the.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks
No,
more
the
stylized.
remasters,
Oh,
no.
okay.
No, the Wii one is more cartoony looking, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wii one I heard is very rough.
By
Yeah.
comparison to the PlayStation and Xbox version.
Oh yeah, well, all
Which
the
were, like,
old stuff on the Wii
photorealistic.
looks real rough in high
Yeah.
def.
Yeah, I
I'm
think it was
talking,
that
like,
Wii.
totally different style choices. Like they
Yeah, it was a different game.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a different game. Like when Wii was a different. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'm thinking of the right game then.
Yeah. Yeah, Ghostbusters was really fun to play through. That's something that could have really took advantage of the con like motion control stuff. Talk about a missed opportunity there, but still it was a good time. It was a good time.
I did
Ghosts
like
it was
Ghostbusters. Like you said, it was a good
1991
proper like type thing. Hey, Mecha Dragon, I see you're joining us. Can you mute for a moment?
Hey, sorry, I'm on mobile. I have to do that.
That's okay. You're more than welcome
No
to join
problem,
us.
boss.
You gotta mute the subway.
On the bus, so waiting for the
Or
bus.
the bus. All right. Yeah. Okay. Mute the
And,
transportation. And Vince, I noticed
Yeah.
sounds like there's a little bit of a lag on
And-
your side there. So that might be why we're getting a little bit of the delay between us talking and when you're trying to talk. So I apologize if we keep cutting you off and I know you're not trying to cut us off, but there's definitely a lag because I can hear it in the background actually. There's definitely a lag. I can hear it in the background.
Yeah. I've really got to try to upgrade my hardware situation here. Super Nintendo, but I appreciate your guys' patience with me trying to slog my way through this stuff. Yeah, but one other share I'd like to put out there. My birthday is in a few days, the 17th, and kind of unexpectedly, my wife not only did she buy me a Switch Lite, but she managed to score it from our local GameStop. So just like one day, she told me to look out for this delivery, and lo and behold, delivering my new Switch Lite, and it was a very pleasant surprise because the SD card in my OG Switch was crapping out. Hardware is really starting to fall apart now. It's getting up there in age, but
It's awesome.
But yeah, now I've got one of the turquoise Switch minis, and
nice.
It's
I was
real
going to
fun.
ask you what color.
It's real fun. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Cool. That is awesome.
Turquoise. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
About all from me.
Thanks for sharing that, what you got for show and tell. That is awesome. So next up we got for show and tell
you bet.
Thank you. Next up we got for show and tell is John. John, what you got for us?
Well, like you guys, I didn't really get a whole lot of stuff for Christmas because most of the time they don't know what to get me. I have a problem. But something I got right before Christmas is this Fire Emblem Anniversary.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you guys... I posted some pictures on it, but all the stuff that came with it is pretty awesome.
So that is awesome, and I think this is probably goes back to what we talked about on our show yesterday, why a lot of people were disappointed in some of the Super Mario 35th anniversary stuff, right? They didn't put as much effort into some of those 35th anniversary stuff as they did with this Fire Emblem set.
No, the Fire Emblem set is they do it for Zelda. Like I want to get a original Zelda, that like crystal type game cartridge.
Yes.
The sleeve and a Nintendo Power poster made for it, and they need to give it that same attention.
I would
buy another one.
Right.
I also have this for Dan at some point in time. I've been cleaning it up.
Nice. That is so awesome.
I needed one. Hey Vin, we're still hearing the echo on your end. Can you mute your mic?
Yeah, no problem, man.
Thanks, dude.
Nice. So
it's about it for me.
Is that it? All right. Chris, HL94, sir. What did you get?
I gotta say, Santa was really good for us this year, especially in terms of Nintendo. All the kids got a game. I'll only mention a couple of them. Son hasn't let go of Hyrule Warriors since he opened that. He's really into it. He's finished Breath of the Wild, so he's a big fan of Hyrule Warriors and getting to the end of this game. Also got some eShop credit, so he's got a couple of games which I was not even aware of before. Forager is a JRPG which he's really into as well, and a real fun party game.
That's a great
Ultimate
game.
Chicken Horse.
Forager.
If anyone's heard of this one. Oh, it's a
Wait,
four-player.
I'm sorry. What was the name of that again? Did you say Ultimate Chicken Horse?
Yes.
Okay, I just thought I misheard you.
It's like
everybody's got.
It's a mix of playing chicken and playing horse. That's why it's called.
Everybody's got to try this game. It's a 4-player party game. So you put on a map, and they're like say the first one you start off is a barn, a farmyard. And you pick one of the characters, the chicken, the horse. I think there's a squirrel or a rabbit. So the goal is to get from the start to the finish. And each round, you add another element to the map. It could help you get to the end easier, or it could kill you and stop you from getting there. So the idea is that each round, the person who gets there first, or if you get to the end, you get points. And whoever has the most points at the end wins. And I think there's a certain number of rounds. So there's all kinds of crazy booby traps and like bow and arrows and crossbows and spikes and barbed wire. You booby trap this course until you're the only one who can get to the end. Everyone else gets killed in the process. And it's just crazy. Like my brother and I, we were playing over the Christmas break as we're super competitive, and it's just we're literally killing each other to try to finish to get to the goal. It's a blast. I would say everybody should try it. The big prize though was I did get like Super Nintendo. I got my own new Switch Lite.
Nice.
Lots of fun. And yes, Tim, I'm still waiting for my NHL Rewind on there. Whenever Nintendo feels like giving us that.
Yes, I'm with you on that. I want a Rewind collection of NHL,
come on,
Madden, and basketball.
I think Marty's trying to wish that into existence for you.
Marty, yeah.
I think that was one.
I think Marty's the last person who will want to wish that in.
EA did promise another 6 games or something like that on the Switch, so maybe.
Yeah, could be one of those, right?
Or it's gonna be 6 really bad games we didn't ask for.
Yeah,
6 games. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, high hopes, low expectations.
Exactly.
We could bring back Madden from the early Super Nintendo days or something like that.
No, they're gonna bring back Bill Walsh college football.
There we go.
You know what?
Unironically, be super hyped for an NFL Blitz collection.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
that's all I want. We used to play that, and a buddy of mine had this conversion van growing up, and we'd take that to like soccer games on the weekend. We'd drive throughout Florida, and they had this TV in the back of this old conversion van, and we would just play Blitz on the 64, just the entire trip. And so that's my jam. And that and what was the NBA equivalent?
NBA Jam.
Yes.
NBA Jam was
How dare you question the title of NBA Jam?
I'd rather have hits.
I didn't question it.
I just find it funny because you
What was the
literally
name
just
of
said
it?
that was my jam.
Yes.
Yes.
What was it called? It was my jam back in the day.
What was the other NBA game that was like NBA Jam, but it was 3D graphics and 64
Playgrounds?
PlayStation?
No.
You know what I'm
NBA
talking
Street.
about, though.
It wasn't NBA Street.
No, that's GameCube. It was N64.
Kobe Bryant's courtside.
That's the best one.
Shut up.
It has Mario in it, playing with like.
Did they put Hang Time on the 64?
Well, that
Hang Time.
That was NBA Jam.
Yeah, that was NBA Jam, but when they moved on after TE Tournament Edition, it went to Hang Time.
Yep. Also, who
That's what
got
I was
the
thinking
license for all these games after Midway went out?
Good question.
That might
We
be why
haven't
we're
seen
not
like
seeing
a
them.
Midway.
yeah, we haven't seen like a Midway collection of any
Unless
sort.
Warner Brothers owns
Jam
all of
Playground.
those old Midway properties. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
WB does, huh?
Yeah.
At least they do the Mortal Kombats and the other NetherRealm Studios, former Midway games, so they may have all of them. I'm not sure.
I guess some of it was also done by EA, so it's possible.
Let me go get my contacts at the Video Game Hall of Fame and
it's
Museum
Warner.
of Play.
It's Warner Brothers.
Okay. Yeah, it would be really cool if we got like a trilogy of Blitz, Hits, and Jam, right? I think that would be cool.
That sounds like a bad lawyer's.
You get in a jam,
The law
Blitz, you get Blitz and Hits. Come see me.
When you get in a jam from being blitzed and you hit another car, I mean,
Yes.
And their parent
And
company,
traffic jam.
Dewey Screw and how.
Was that it, Chris? Did you have anything
you
else?
got the dad jokes.
Before you move on, I
Yeah,
do
wait for the
wanna-
more of the dad jokes.
I do want to highlight the 2 games Chris mentioned. I also highly recommend Forager and Ultimate Chicken Horse. Both great. Forager's like my wife actually got super into that. prior to that, the only game she had really gotten into was Stardew Valley, and it was a very natural evolution.
Okay.
Yeah, Forager is nuts.
Just to let you know, not to plug it. Forager is on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Get that out of here. Get that out of here. This is Nintendo, Dad.
I tried Forager. I love Stardew Valley. Forager wasn't for me. I'll be honest. I didn't like it.
It's definitely different.
That was my experience too. Same thing. Played it
Ultimate
on
Chicken
Game
Horse,
Pass.
I will say, is for everyone. It's like versus Mario Maker. Like that's the best way you can describe it. You put stuff out on a level and try and beat everybody into the
online. It's terrible though. I'll be honest. I tried playing online. It's just not. Either my internet isn't very good, or it's just not. Like, I'll lose a connection every other game. It's frustrating. That's true too.
Yeah, it's the Wi-Fi chip in the Switch. It's probably not your internet.
Yeah.
Well, you get when the pandemic's over and you can have 4 of your buddies over or 3 friends over. That's the one to go for.
There you go.
All right.
I got 3 kids, so that might work for me now.
Guys, I think I apologize, but I think I'm gonna have to duck out and call the night.
All right, sir. Well, before you go, do you want to see what Dan's picks are?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Dan, go ahead. What do you got?
All right, I don't have anything that exciting. I'm going to show off some action figures, though. So hang on here.
Are these the action figures?
All right, so got
the microphone action figure, and
that was a nice pop filter.
This looks like we're taking a photo of like Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Look at all that savings.
Oh no, why is it so dark?
It's so elusive.
Why is it so dark?
There we go.
There we go. All right.
I believe.
So these Sonic the Hedgehog action figures I got because I was having a bad day and I had the money. So
that's a good excuse.
Yeah. These very tall Super Mario and Luigi, I picked those up on Mercari. These are from like 2009, and they're not Jack specific. I can't find a logo on them, so I don't know what they are. But they're big and cool. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they're from. But
there was this weird line that came around that time.
I got the Donkey Kong one too because it's me. So we gotta get
doing
the
a
Donkey
web
Kong.
search to see what these Macari things are.
Oh gosh.
What? What else? No, I think that's it.
Some laundry.
So that's my blanket that keeps my feet warm in my garage.
Yes, you need one of those.
But you're in your garage?
Yeah. I boxed everything up. I boxed everything up and I put it in my closet for the summer every single year because
Please tell me you at least live down in the south where it's warm.
Well, yeah, I live in Texas,
South, but it's not warm right there. It's not warm there now.
No, it's about 30 to 40 degrees right now. And when it's cold,
wow,
it's fine.
that is so. Yeah, 30 to 40 degrees,
heat,
so cold.
It's the heat and the humidity. Okay, first of all, we're talking specifically about old electronics.
But it's a dry heat.
Okay. Old electronics don't do well in humidity. So for the summer, I box everything up and I put it in my closet. And then I have to set everything back up September or October. So I grew up in Massachusetts, sir. Okay, I know what cold is.
I live on Lake Ontario. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'm just apologizing to Antonio and Andros for not seeing theirs.
Oh, it's fine. Dude, you do your thing, brother.
You'll just have to
all this stuff at some point anyway. Jimmy.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, we all know what we have. But,
a problem. We all have a problem. That's what
a problem.
That's what we have.
When did this turn into an AA meeting?
Hi, my name is Antonio.
Hi, my name's Matt, and I've been up since 3:30 this morning.
Yes, nice.
Almost the same for me. That's why I'm ducking out.
Me too, actually.
Admitting you have a problem is the first step.
It is. It is.
Yep. Thanks for having me, Tim. It's good as usual.
Thanks
Catch
for
you guys
stopping
later.
by.
Peace out, man.
Bye.
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 All right. Dan, thanks for sharing your Sonic stuff there. That was awesome. Always, what do they call that? Retail therapy is always comes in handy when you need it. So
I didn't know we went back to the Sega dads.
yes.
Oh,
Every now and then they
dads
come
around
out.
here.
They always come out around April or close to April for some reason. So, all right, Antonio, what you got for us?
So
Anything?
the thing that I have is something that I actually haven't even opened yet, and we're gonna open it right now. And I ordered this after one of the partner showcases last year that we got, and that is that special edition Ori that was released.
Nice.
So I couldn't check this out. Okay.
Cool. It's what I like to call open boxing. If you saw my video,
So,
Yeah, there's open boxing videos, you know.
here is this is the Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition and Ori the Will of the Wisps. So for the Nintendo Switch, so it's pretty cool. So it's got comes with a field guide and kind of a sketchbook and some other little goodies in here. And then I got the two both of the games soundtrack on vinyl. So those are also in here.
That's so nice.
Which are pretty sweet. Sorry for the unpackaging. So these are pretty nice. In fact, I collect a lot of soundtracks. I just got a limited run on the Tetris Effect soundtrack as well, which is really nice. So here are these two vinyls.
Yeah, that's nice and calming, by the way. Tetris Effect soundtrack.
It's really nice, yeah. So
cool.
Yeah, so this is sweet. I can't wait to get into this stuff. But yeah, that's what I got.
Nice.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah, if I crack into this, I'll pop some of it back up too.
Okay. We'll do the open boxing video.
The open boxing.
Well, I guess we just did that.
And opening the package, it's also an ASMR.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I will do this. So this kind of opens up.
Yeah, I saw that in the picture. That is so cool. And the inside, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. A metal. This is like a metal. Oh man, that's pretty sweet.
How much?
Is that a steel case?
If you don't mind sharing, how much is this thing?
Steelbook?
I can look back. I want to say it was $150.
Not cheap.
Yeah, it was. It's up there, but it's well worth it for what they put in there.
It's like almost like stained glass.
That is so cool.
The physical games are in there too, right?
Yeah,
it's just not codes or that.
Well, it's limited run. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that.
They're both right here. And then it's got some other nice little goodies in here. It's got an enamel pin set as well, which is pretty nice.
That's a sweet set.
Yep.
And this is what Mario 35 needed.
Exactly.
A big thing like that. Hopefully Zelda gets that. That'd be cool.
Oh.
So yeah, this was this was from IMA
would be bankrupt if they release it.
If they do even half that crap with Zelda, I would buy one for each Zelda game they released for $150, and I'd go broke, and I wouldn't regret it at all.
Yeah, this is not a regular thing. I absolutely love these games. Some of my favorites over the last couple of years. So this is not an everyday occurrence for me. This is kind of a birthday present to myself. So I had the wife and kids. I was like, don't even worry about it. I got this year. I got this.
You knew exactly what you wanted. Yes.
My birthday's coming up. You're giving me ideas now.
Very, very cool. Thanks for sharing that too.
Absolutely.
I wish there was a good way to hear those albums if you play those albums. Do you open them up and listen to them, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how well it would play and listening to it over like something like this, but I would love to hear.
He listens to them unopened.
I was talking about if he just collected the albums and not listened to them.
No, I listen. I listen to them. I've actually wanted to play them, but I can't figure out a good way because I mean it I think it breaks a bunch of different laws. So it's not like I'm gonna stream it or I know a lot of videos on Twitch have been pulled down recently for doing similar things. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I meant just like if we were to hang out in one of the.
Oh yeah, if you want to hang out,
yeah,
Tim,
let's
and
do
we
it
can
in a
we can
Discord
have a
call.
beer and we can put a
Exactly.
record on.
That'd be awesome. Just hang out and listen to your albums you got there. Sweet. All right. Thanks a lot, Antonio.
For sure.
Andrew, what you got?
So I might have gone like slightly overboard, so I'm gonna go kind of fast through my Christmas haul. I got quite a bit of gaming stuff for Christmas. Let's start off. I got a SteelSeries headset specifically to play Fortnite on the Switch.
Nice.
This was my big gift from my wife this year.
Which
Welcome
one?
to the Steel Series.
We gotta play sometime.
Yeah, we love Steel Series around here. Which one did you get?
Good question. I threw the box away. Does it say on the actual headset? I don't know.
No, you'll never know now.
I'll never know. I got this sweet
Nice.
sweater. I was wearing it. It's just too warm.
Ooh, Sonic, it looks nice.
It is so nice.
Yeah,
It's like
I love that.
an
great.
embroidered.
Nice.
Very cool.
This goes to my collection. My mother-in-law buys me one of these every year for Christmas, a gaming Christmas sweater. So I've got 6 now.
Mother-in-law's cooler than mine.
Yeah, she's very thoughtful. And then I got lots of gaming socks. I sampled a sample pair, wearing another pair. But
I have those same socks. They're fantastic.
My son got me this, and I am just loving it.
Oh yeah, I see that. The 3D.
That's gorgeous.
All right, now
That's
I
nice.
need one of those. Where did he get it from?
That is very cool.
I love that.
Got it at Ross. So
You got it at Ross?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
So my wife and I went to Ross. Gosh, this is a couple weeks back. I don't know. Were you on the Discord with us, Dan, when we were doing that? Over with the Nintendo pals, I posted it. But we found a whole bunch.
Yeah, I remember that.
I got an Animal Crossing. It's the cover of Animal Crossing, framed, really nice, big. There were 3 Mario pieces from Super Mario Bros. And a Ocarina of Time piece. And my wife, I took my kiddo to use the restroom, and my wife was like, "Man, it'd be cool if I could find one more to surprise him with as like a Christmas present from our son." And this one was tucked away, hidden, and this is by far like the coolest one. I mean, just looks exactly like the 3DS cover. I love Ocarina of Time.
What is this Ross, and like, do they have an online store? Because that is awesome.
So
Ross is like a clothing surplus store.
Yeah, it's like it's a sister store of TJ Maxx, so it's all
or Marshalls.
surplus random.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They're like a discount bulk store, and all the stuff they have is random
And
it never comes
missized.
back.
They're like one. You'll see like one sleeve will be too long than the other sleeve.
Do you think there's any of them in the city, New York City?
Maybe. Yeah, I would.
We have them in Rochester. We have them in Rochester.
Yeah,
They could have similar stores like it too. That might have different names.
I shared my find, and John's gone, but he went out the same day to Ross, and he also got a Nintendo piece, a similar holographic. He knows the actual term, whatever it's called, the line.
Was this actually before
I think
Christmas?
it's lenticular or something like that, isn't it? Lenticular.
Yeah, so lenticular. Yes, that's right. And he got one for Splatoon. So
But was this before Christmas? I wonder if I'm screwed if I go to Ross tomorrow.
I don't think they're there
Lenticular.
anymore. I have looked since. So sorry, guys. But they are very cool.
That's awesome.
Um,
That's cool.
So that's my Christmas haul, but I did grab a couple things for show and tell. One, this is like my favorite thing in a collection. It's homemade.
That's cool.
We picked up this little barrel at a thrift store, and I saw it and was like, I would really love to make this into like a Donkey Kong Country decor. And so I bought foam and cut it and painted it. So now I have my own like custom Donkey Kong barrel.
So cool.
And then this is my last thing. I'm
Handcrafted.
going overboard.
Very
I'd like for you to
crafty.
make me one of those.
Yes. I got into the N64. I got my own N64 and my family an N64 right as the GameCube came out. So I purchased for Christmas, I don't know what year that was, but many odd years ago, for my family, a Nintendo 64 for $12. And since then, I've gotten into the N64 real cheap. I've shared this before, but I've kept the price stickers on these to show the prices that I got these games at. That is $1 for Mario and $2 for Pokemon Stadium.
Love Pokemon Stadium.
And I just,
Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those for $1? Oh my god!
A thrift store. Yeah. I guess whoever
You got the good spots, man.
We got these when so this was like when I got the N64. It just cracks me up. The Mario Kart was only $25, and this like random. I don't think it's a fantastic game. Sorry if you don't like it, but if you do like it, Aiden Chronicles was more expensive than Mario Kart. I'm like, is this even the same planet? I don't know. So yeah, I got all these games. Gauntlet Legends, $1. Bomberman, $1.
Nice.
So that's my claim to fame. I got all these cool games for $1. Never gonna happen again.
You're making Dan jealous. He wants to find a haul like that.
I'm jelly over here.
This was I think this was before like the market really became online and people knew how much stuff was worth. I don't think
okay.
Stuff this cheap again.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Very true.
But yeah, that's my Christmas haul / show and tell.
Nice. Very cool. I guess Mecha Dragon, when you get home, unless you want to talk about it, well, it's kind of hard to talk about because you're in a loud environment. But when you get home, you'll have to hop back on and share what you got, show and tell type thing.
Well, Joel, can you hear me well, or is it too loud here?
It's not loud at the moment.
Yeah, well, I can show you my show and tell when I get back home, but I didn't get much for Christmas. At least I did that really quick. All I got these is a new tablet. I got the Samsung Galaxy S7, I think it's called. That's the light. It's the upper version of that. If you guys like a tablet or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mecha Dragon. It's hard to hear you. So because it looks like you're hitting some bumps and a lot of stuff going on.
Fine, I'll tell you when I get back home.
Yeah, tell us when you get back on. I'm sure we'll be here.
Yeah, the problem when we work late just happens. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, I guess while we wait for him to get home and hopefully get back on and share, I'll share what mine is because I think I'm the last one, right? Yeah, everybody got to go. I got a few things too, and it was actually scattered between. It's not all on Christmas. It was actually scattered throughout the months, or throughout the weeks. A couple weeks before and a couple weeks after Christmas. But two things that I got with early Christmas money that I got that I was able to pick up when someone we know had a sale of his own on his website. I got two games that I hold near and dear to me. So on the
you can plug who it was. It's okay.
What's that? So I got these two, my Super Nintendo games. So I got Super Mario World and Zelda: Link to the Past on the retro block.
How much was Link to the Past? You want me asking them?
I got them when they were on sale there. So it was like, what did you have? A 20% off sale or something like that around Black Friday or something like that?
I think it was buy one, get one half off.
Yeah. So I was able to pick up those two things.
That's a beautiful copy of Zelda, by the way. That was a really, really nice copy I snagged. So
yeah,
I'm glad that it went to Tim. I'm glad I went to a good home.
Yes, and I'm keeping them in the bag until I have a proper way to store them. So right now they're in the Ziploc bags right now.
Don't we need to get you an SNES now?
Yeah, I don't have one of those right now, but
one of those.
I just gave mine away.
I saw on Etsy there's a seller that sells like little cases like you can host Nintendo games in them. They look very high quality. That's something I'm gonna get whenever I get the money to start collecting games and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen those too, and I'm still kind of searching for the one that I like the best.
I was going to ask you guys, how do you recommend storing them? I mean, most of my SNES games I just have in a plastic, like it has a sealable top, like kind of a plastic case. I don't know. What do you guys store yours in?
Anything airtight. You can
Anything
even
airtight?
have them,
okay.
You can even have them out in Ziplocs. They make custom like hard cases, but
Sure.
that gets really expensive.
Yeah.
If you want to display them in a pretty way, that's the best way to do it. But if you just want to play them, Tupperware is just fine.
Cool.
In a dry, cool place.
Didn't they have like the little dust covers you could put on them? I had a bunch of those as a kid.
Yeah, that just slip on the bottom.
Those are not airtight. Those are not going to protect against humidity.
Yep.
They're cool.
These are the only two that I was going to pick up because they mean a lot to me, because they were the first games that I beat, completed. And again, because I bought the Super Nintendo with my own money and took the time with it, I actually beat Zelda first, even though it came with Super Mario World, the Super Nintendo. I just took my time with that apparently, and when Zelda came out, I ate that up and beat that game first. And then came back and then beat Super Mario World. So that was, Zelda. This was my first Zelda game I beat. This was my first Mario game that I beat, and together they were both my first two games that I beat. So lots of memories with them. I had to have them when I saw them. They were in the store. So, and that's why I'm looking for a good way to display them. I don't think I'll pop them in a Super Nintendo because I'm afraid that might lead to collecting more. So
yeah, since you're only playing those two, you might want to invest in some nice plastic cases, like some hard shell cases.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna do is get a couple of those for display.
You got JetForce Gemini available right now.
I do.
You mean I gotta get any more Super Nintendo games, Tim? You should get more. They're fun.
Yeah, if I find a good one and stuff like that, like if I find SimCity, I'll probably get that one too, because that was a game I spent a lot of hours in.
Clock. I mean, if you find a copy of Clock, like
if I find it, I will have to get that. Just
when I saw that copy last week Saturday, and I was like, "Yep, I gotta get that."
That I had thought about doing a thing where like I set a bunch of money aside and I just buy every copy of Clock that I find, every single one, and then I just jack up all my prices for Clock.
Yes.
The command on the Clock market.
Yes, that is for sure. And now that we're all looking for it, we won't be able to find it ever again.
Well, I got mine, so I'm good.
Yep.
Buy from me.
We gotta buy them so we can drive up the market, right? That's what
There were people. So there were people in the Among Us chat that were like, "What the fuck?" Just a heads up. That's like my favorite SNES game. It's not just a joke.
Yes.
I do love that game a lot. It's very fun.
Okay. So, I've never heard of Clock until you guys had mentioned it in Discord or here in the show. So I'm trying to imagine, like, a joke I always had with friends of mine was we go to Walmart in college and you look through like the bargain bin of DVDs and you'd always find 18 copies of the movie Double Team with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman. So that everything, the bargain bin became, well, is this a double team of video games or is this a double team of, I don't know, books or something? Because that would fail. I was doing this for years. I would just go into a Walmart and like see how many copies of Double Team the DVD I could find. There was usually about 20 of them. They were being sold for about $2 or $3, and nobody's buying this because it's a terrible movie.
Right.
Is Plock the Double Team of SNES games, or is it?
It's actually a pretty good game.
Okay.
And it's not bargain bin. Like $20 is about the going rate for it. So it's not like a Madden or something. It's just it's a hilarious meme in the Retro Logic Discord community. So If you jump in there, there's a whole channel dedicated to just Plock memes. So just get
For
ready
whatever reason, it's just hilarious to insert Plock into everything. I have found, at least to me, it is.
Mole does a great job. Sam's
Yeah,
awesome.
he does.
It just never gets old.
I keep fanning that flame just to keep Plock alive.
Do it. I'm full support. No, Plock is actually a really good platformer. Soundtrack is incredible for an SNES game. You'll listen to it and go, "This was on the SNES." Like it's a very good game.
So I just played it for the first time when I got it last Saturday. I popped it in, and it actually is pretty good.
We have plans. We have plans at Retro Logic for a one-off podcast called Plock Talk. So get ready for that.
You guys heard on the Plock memes. Those are pretty good.
Nice.
Hey Mecca, can you mute yourself?
He is muted.
That wasn't mute.
For it being like my favorite game on the SNES, I've never beat it. It's pretty hard. It like ramps up in difficulty like crazy at the end. The creators of the game are like, yeah, I don't think I could ever beat it. So
Well, we learned today. We actually learned today that Plock even has a backstory, like lore.
Yep.
The more you know.
He was Souls before Souls was Souls.
So if anybody was watching ever wants to learn more about Plock, go to where do they need to go?
Retro Logic. Yeah. Come to our Discord. It's in my Twitter bio at Blockfort Retro.
Yes. Very cool. All right. Well, that's what we've been able to share. And when Mecha Dragon gets home, he can share what he's got. Whatever he wants to share there in a much quieter environment, hopefully. But with that, let's move on to the basically that was main dish, right? So we need to move on to some dessert, if I can talk. So the dessert that we're going to be talking about today is GameStop. We've talked about GameStop before in the dinner table with the community. Basically, the question is how could we make a game store better? Essentially, this was a few months back. If we had our own gaming store, how would we make it the perfect gaming store? But in this case, in the news, if you weren't aware, GameStop basically hired on some more board members to the board, some executives from other areas. One of those executives was the executive from Chewy.com, and he's been on news areas just talking about his plans or his ideas behind GameStop, and that's one of them is basically more e-commerce type environment. And some of the things that have been pointed out was that I think even announced that they were going to close even some more GameStops, but that's because they're trying to align more of their business to be more e-commerce, and even their trade-in would be via e-commerce or via through the mail rather than having stores. So basically we didn't get a chance to talk about this much on the Nintendo Dads, but we wanted to get community's thoughts on this topic. And before we open it up even more, Jesse, did you have anything more you wanted to bring up about the topic?
Well, yeah, I had this. Yeah, I have like a page of notes talking about the things I can talk about on it. I wanted to talk about this as part of a rumors segment, but kind of like a few high points of it is, this came to my attention through YouTuber Camelot331. He had a video yesterday morning talking about it. At the beginning of the week, the GameStop stock was around $17 or $18 a share. At the end of Tuesday, it was $20. At the end of Wednesday, it was $30. And at the end of Thursday, it was almost $40. So, okay, the question is, what causes the stock to double, to more than double in less than a week? and what we found out, the Chewy co-founder brought in 2 other people who are on board. His name is Ryan Cohen, and Cohen actually owns 12% of GameStop stock as of September, and he bought that when it was 7 to 10 a share. So he's already 5 times his money at least, just on that. And if you ever looked at a press release, you see on the bottom is a little bit about this company. There's a new little blurb that showed up on this press release that announced the 3 new board members. It starts off with GameStop Corp., a Fortune 500 company headquartered in Grapevine, Texas, is a digital-first omnichannel retailer. So we're like, digital first since when? So, we already knew, but before this, the start of 2020, they had around 5,500 stores, and we knew they dropped close to 500 stores before the end of last year, and had announced they're going to close up to 1,000 more stores in the first 3 months of this year. And then this happened. So the speculation is most, if not all, of these stores might close. So kind of opens the door then. What else? Does this make sense? Is this a logical conclusion? Are we way off? What do you guys think?
The thing about brick and mortar.
Not paying any more employees, your shares are probably going to take a pretty good jump.
It's that it's really.
Someone was trying to say something.
Dan. Chris, I heard Chris's thoughts.
Oh, sorry. I think I can't hear Chris HL's audio or something because I couldn't hear you when you were talking last time earlier. But I think it was just a me problem. Brick and mortar retail is really expensive for anybody. Just having a store somewhere where people are gonna go, you're gonna pay so much money in rent unless you own the property, in which case you're upfront spending tons and tons of money. That I think GameStop kind of has to do this if they're gonna stay in business. If you've walked into a GameStop at any time in the last few years, it sucks in there. Like
I tried to avoid them.
The employees are not happy. The stock is always kind of it's always different depending on which GameStop you go into. They don't do brick and mortar very well. What this does do though is that it opens up a lot of opportunity for smaller stores. Mom and pop shops, retro game shops, that retro game cafes, that kind of thing, that can have a much more curated experience for fans of video games. That's not just a shitty store you walk into to pre-order stuff. So I think it's a good thing for GameStop, and it's a good thing for literally every other gaming retailer in history. So A+ on all accounts.
As someone who hasn't been I stayed away from GameStop for years, especially when I had my Best Buy Gamers Club stuff. I went back into GameStop most recently I pre-ordered the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Fine, whatever. But the problem is I walk in there, I still get the situation of, why don't you go ahead and sign up and buy this, sign up for a program. It's like, I don't want to spend an extra $30. One, you're not going to be open for much longer. Yeah. Two, the big problem they have is, they're going to probably close a lot of their stores. Personally, I'm probably way wrong. I don't have a business hat like Mr. Masson, but I think it's actually going to hurt GameStop because nobody thinks GameStop online. Because right now, I recently walked into the store right before Christmas. I wanted to pre-order the Mario and Peach, the Cat Mario and Cat Peach amiibo. I walk into the store and they say, we can't pre-order that. Okay, I'll go online. I'll pre-order it. If I pre-order it online, I can't get it shipped to the store for free. I have to ship it to my house and pay an extra $9 in shipping. So you know what I did? I pre-ordered it through Target. I'm going to probably get it 3 days after they actually release. I pre-ordered both of them.
I pre-ordered mine through Best Buy with pickup, so there's no shipping.
Yeah. the thing is, I could have got it pre-ordered pickup in the store, but I have a red card, so 1, I get free shipping.
Okay.
Free 2-day shipping. 2, I get 5% off on top of
5%
that.
off.
I don't have. I can wait 3 days for Amiibo, or 2 to 3. It'll probably ship the day it releases, so I'll probably get it the day after, 2 days after they release, maybe 3, because I think they come out on a Friday. So just so I don't have to deal with the store. But I excluding the red card situation, I could have ordered it from a store, to ship to the store, and I don't have to pay $10. I saved right there. Why can you not walk into a store and pre-order the Amiibo? And 2, why if I pre-order online, do I have to have it shipped to home? Why can it not be shipped to a store?
Because they don't know the stores are going to be there or not.
And that is one thing about going online, that you have to contend with Amazon no matter who you are. So if you stop brick and mortar, I'm agreeing with you. If you stop brick and mortar, you now no longer have the Walmart advantage over Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I trust me. I mean, I got an awesome mom and pop shop around here, but you can't pre-order some things. Plus with the COVID stuff, and because I'm in New York, a lot of those were actually closed, so I couldn't do it when GameStop was open. But it's like, the customer service is just piss poor. I'm sorry. I walked in there, and when I got my Series X, my Xbox One S, it became my Blu-ray player. It got moved upstairs. My wife doesn't like using the controller for a DVD remote, so I walked in. The only place I get one was in Best Buy. I do the online pickup because it's in stock, so that's the only reason I get it in store. I walk in there, I get it. First off, the employee's sitting there telling me how the one for the PlayStation's better. Well, I'm not using a PlayStation. 2, I'm getting a 5-minute spiel on why I should spend my $25 to sign up for their program. Every time I walk into a Best Buy, I know they're all... I'm not a Best Buy, GameStop. I know they're all different. I know each store's different. But around here, every time I walk in, it's so focused on selling you the extra that the customer service is gone. It's customer no service. I don't know. I don't like to be jumped and pounced on to buy something that when I'm going in for one thing. And it's not hey, do you know about this program? I get this big spiel and I'm like, I have to sit there and say, I know you're doing your job, but I'm just not interested. It shouldn't be like that.
If you want to hear more stories like
shoved down my throat.
If you want to hear more stories like that at least isn't you, but other people, Camelot's got a lot of videos talking about GameStop.
Exactly.
And other retailers they're just going to crap.
But I mean, I'm sorry. I'm a customer service person. I understand paying less money and having less service, but come on, they're not going to compete with Amazon. Let's be honest. They're just going to fade away. I mean, don't get me wrong. I use Chewy for some items for my dog, but
I think
they're not doing the extra things. They might as well be Walmart or Target or Best Buy anyway.
Well, Walmart doesn't have customer service. Best Buy has some, and Target has good customer service.
They can still beat everyone if they make their trade incentives. If they keep the whole trade thing up, you can buy your used games there. If they keep doing retro somehow, they can still exist and have a purpose because nobody else does trade-ins.
They still have a massive cache of old consoles and games. Like they still have a really large cache.
But GameStop has the advantage of a zeitgeist, right? At GameStop you could trade in your games. I can't name a single other big retailer off the top of my head that does that. They may do it. I've never heard of it.
Amazon and Best Buy do, but honestly,
I didn't know that.
If GameStop brick and mortar goes away, you're going to tell me Best Buy and Amazon are not going to jump on that opportunity to advertise that even more? I mean, they don't really advertise it much. They're going to be all over that.
They may. I don't know if they want to. It's kind of a hard business.
I was gonna say maybe if I come in from the other side. I don't know if you guys have much info or knowledge about Chewy. Chewy, I use pretty regularly. My parents actually own their own mom pa pet supply store, and were the ones that pointed me to Chewy. They're actually super pro small business. And their goal is to compete with Amazon and stores like Petco and like mass-produced stores. really, really cool company.
And
And
then
so
Scott.
yeah, it's really cool to see them coming over because they do online very well. Their customer service is phenomenal. Their support of small businesses and partnering with small businesses to do in-store shipping type things, and just like the stuff that they are a primary. I don't believe Chewy has their own brick and mortar store.
I don't think they
And
do.
if
No, they don't.
GameStop can take that magic that Chewy has and become an online entity that works with mom and pop shops, the way that Chewy does with their pet supplies, and their model, I think we're in for a home run of a deal. Like Dan hit it on the head exactly. Coming from the game retailing side, I had thought about all of this from the pet supply side just because I have some more experience with Chewy and knowing what they do. But he's right. It could end up being just like a win-win-win for the consumers because we have more mom and pop shops that now have an online infrastructure. Because it's hard. It is hard as a small business, as a small store, to have
the distribution,
the stock and distribution to do online. But if you partner with a company like Chewy, or in this case, whatever the future of GameStop might be, you could have that stock, have that ability to do trade-ins, all of that while still maintaining your local business. It could be a really cool deal.
It's exactly why before we really started, Tim was asking me, I had been thinking about moving all my inventory over to Shopify from eBay, and it's a huge deal for me to move 60 items over to Shopify. So online is very difficult. eBay does tons of the heavy lifting for me. So it's going to be really hard for me to leave when I finally do. Yeah, exactly. So if GameStop can like...
One question I have, Andros, on the Chewy side is, are they using local mom and pop shops like pet supply shops to fulfill orders that are coming in online? Is that how that works?
They can. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to ask more. I wasn't aware. Of
that's kind of interesting to me. But if you almost using the local businesses to fulfill, some of those orders, perhaps like maybe even in like purchasing retro games or limited run games, and like seeing how those companies could perhaps fulfill. Obviously, GameStop still gets a cut for having the platform and being able to kind of support the local businesses. But that's kind of an interesting concept in itself, for sure.
Like Dan was saying, what Chewy does on their end is like a lot of heavy lifting for stock and inventory and all that stuff, and they just hand a package over and say, "Hey, put this on your website." It might even be blended into the local shop's website. But I'm just kind of picturing what GameStop could do, and that they could be like, hey, they could have a service instead of their. They could have their own online store, GameStop online store. But they could also have their store blended in with, Joe's Games down the street, wherever you're gonna go. Their website will have its own.
I love Joe's Games.
It'll have its own online store, but behind the scenes, it's actually GameStop.
Yes, I've heard multiple times people saying, it's a win-win for both the consumer and the business. But business in terms of the executives and the stockholders, the big loss with all this is losing. If we lose another 3,000 or more stores, that's all the part-time employees lose their jobs. All the managers that are trying to be trying to keep their full-time job will lose their job, and even probably up to the district manager level won't have a district anymore to manage.
I'm hoping that those
sorry to cut you guys off. I'm about to head to my house, so I'll be in a quieter place in 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully those employees will become the mom and pop shops.
Yeah, I don't think there is one in my area anymore. There used to be one I would go to, and I remember they had one of those. I think it was a 6-game SNK Neo Geo cabs. They had it up for like $150. I'm like, I have the money. I want to buy this. I just don't have the space or any way to move it. And yeah, kind of wish I had. I wish I was able to pick that up.
I guess it really does seem though that I mean, what they were looking a year ago. They brought Reggie on right onto their board and stuff,
Right.
and we're looking at trying to convert some of these stores into more of an experience. You know, does it seem like with this change that's kind of, I mean, maybe you know, the pandemic maybe.
Yeah,
I
pre-COVID
think
it
there's
was
a
a good
big part.
idea.
Yeah.
Not so
I
much
think that
now.
was a big part of
There's
it.
really
yeah.
not going to be much of a chance for that. I know I have 2 GameStops in town, which always seems kind of weird to me because it's not a very big town, and they were like less than 2 miles away from each other, and so but one
One of them won't be here by the end of the year.
Well, the one just closed right after Christmas.
Oh,
like
okay.
days after Christmas, and so now we're down to 1. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems like,
because if I was tasked with needing to shave off 100 stores, that's the first thing I would look for is where are there redundancies.
We just
Yeah,
lost
exactly.
one. We have 2 that I know of. Close
Yeah,
to
there were
us.
several
Lost
stores
one.
cannibalizing themselves around here.
Yeah, I've got 3 within a 5-mile radius.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them around me.
And there's probably 20 of them in the whole metro area. You know, there's a lot of them.
Probably depends on like the metropolitan. Like I live in a pretty big city, so it's like it makes sense for there to be a bunch of them all over the place if they're making money, whatever. There's one in the mall, and then there's one right outside the mall. So it's like
Yeah, we still got that around here too.
Yep.
What's a mall?
yeah.
That's another thing. Oh my god. They still own Funko too, don't they?
They are
I don't know.
Funko.
But my answer to what's a mall, it's the place where the kids go on Halloween because they don't go out the door to door anymore.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys.
But
Let
yeah,
me tell you guys a dream that I have. This is my dream, right? I want someday to have a retail location, but it's not going to be a game store. It's going to be a cafe. Okay. And you can play your games at the cafe. You can buy games there too, but it's mostly a place to come hang out and get a beer or get a coffee and play retro games. I know those kinds of things exist already, but it's not the games themselves. It's not Prince of Persia on the Game Gear that makes me feel all gooey inside. It's the experiences that I had with those games as a kid and wanting to share those experiences with me, which is why I have a couch in my office so that people can come and play Mario Kart Double Dash with me. That's where gaming, at least retro gaming, that's the future of it. That's what I see. And so GameStop is saying, peace out. We don't want to do that anymore, whatever. And that can only be a good thing for you and me. That's how I feel.
Can I play devil's advocate on that?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, what happens in a situation where I hear it with a lot of the podcasts now. I hear it with the Nintendo dads. I hear it with Mega dads, whoever, where they play games, and I'm having a son, with my kids. A lot of these older games they don't like because they're too hard. How many times do we hear when they do a remaster is like we need quality of life changes and stuff? Do you think there's a problem running into where a lot of the younger gamers who are, I'm going to insert stereotypes, who only play Fortnite and Call of Duty all day long, they need that quality of life change. It has to be easy. Just saying, do you think because they're not going to sit there and try to want to learn the past and learn how their games got to where they are, that they just don't, put it bluntly, they just don't give a damn about retro games. They're too hard. They're archaic. My dad and grandfather played those. Do you think that's something we're seeing? Because every time I see old games come back or whatever, it's like, oh, it's too hard. And then you get the games like Celeste or stuff where everyone's like, oh, it's great, or Hollow Knight. It's great, but it's hard. But too many times I hear, we need an easy mode and change this. But you can't even find manuals for older games anymore where all your information was. Do you think that's...
I'll just a very brief rebuttal, and then I'll let you guys...
Yeah,
that's fine.
The thing The thing that because you're absolutely right. There are those kids out there that just want to play Fortnite, Call of Duty, and they don't care about Super Mario Brothers 3. There is also a whole YouTube culture where a very prominent YouTuber will cover an old game, and that game rockets up in price. So it happens all the time. It happened very recently. It happened with the DS game Rhythm Heaven. It was a $10 DS game until October, and then it was a $50 DS game. So there's still a market for people who have never played these games, who are young, who want to collect, who want to know about The Legend of Zelda, who want to play Rhythm Heaven on the DS because it's some weird Nintendo thing. They're still out there. And even the people who only play Fortnite and Call of Duty would probably like to come when they get a little older to the place where they can hang out with their friends and gaming is fine and normal, because gaming is still slowly becoming more of like a mainstream thing, but it's still pretty niche in the grand scheme of things.
And my argument here is I don't think it's limited to just the kids. I find myself having a lot less patience with games now than I did when I was a kid. And I don't think the kids today have as much patience as we did when we were kids, just because, just every social media and everything else in the internet age today in general is just fast, do it now, do the next thing when it's ready.
Or they have things more accessible than we did, where if we got a game, we were stuck with that game for like 6 months. So even if it was hard,
right?
Oh well, that's the game we got. We got to keep trying.
A lot of Donkey Kong 64 because of that.
Yeah,
Prices are not going down. Prices are not going down. Prices are going up. Yeah. Demand is going up. Supply is going down, but demand is going up. So somebody somewhere wants to play these games.
Well, I would argue that the not all the newer games are easier either. I mean, I could play Ocarina of Time forever, but every time I break another weapon in Breath of the Wild, I will scream and cry and get really frustrated. And my son, who tried Ocarina of Time, gave it up after I think a couple of hours. He put hours and hours into Breath of the Wild, and I remember he brought every time he got to one of the Divine Beasts, he was like, "Look at this! I'm about to beat this." He wanted to show me. He put the time in, and he leveled up, and he grinded through that, and he's got all the memories. He put a lot of work into that. I think he probably, if you asked him, it's one of his top 5 accomplishments of just life in that game.
And I think, you look at, okay, what's retro now? So, these kids are going to, the games that they're playing right now are going to be retro. I mean, you always are going to have retro games that are going to be, are going to be retro to that. I mean, for me, retro
PS3 and 360 is getting pretty close to the definition of retro.
I mean, I always forget, people talk about retro, like GameCube, and I'm like, okay, what? We got a GameCube when I got married, as a wedding gift. I mean, it's like, it's like, that's not retro to me, but it is retro.
I'm the opposite of that. It was a gift to myself after I got divorced.
Good for you.
I feel like there's some kind of circular thing there, that, like a circle of life kind of thing there. Then
the only problem with that is that you can't play Fortnite if they shut the servers off.
True, and
that's true.
So I think game preservation will definitely be much different in the future. Obviously, with digital, it's going to change.
I feel like there are going to be ways around that. People will find ways around that. I mean, it's not even close to the same thing, but like, talking to Jesse before about playing Dragon Quest IX and how there were servers that were there for downloading special items and stuff like that. And it really, not that you needed it to play the game, so it's not quite the same thing.
Definitely helps.
But people create, and I think there's a lot of old PC games that, were online based that,
sure,
people have created their own service for. So whether or not it's legal or not, but people will find ways to do it.
I was gonna pull out one.
Mario Kart Double Dash does that. Phantasy Star Online has done that, so that's true.
I know one online game. Did you guys ever see Disney Toontown online?
Yeah, my son used to play that.
Initial release was in 2003, discontinued in 2013. There are fan-made servers going of that as of last year. I didn't play it. I have a friend that was like, "Oh yeah."
I think that was
this game.
run by the same company that did EverQuest. Maybe, if I'm thinking.
But
okay, so Facebook
maybe
quiet
not.
now. Sorry about that, Tim.
No
Welcome
worries.
back.
I'm actually gonna bounce, guys. I did leave a little present in the dinner table channel. It's just how Skinny Matt froze on my screen at one point during the.
I almost took a screenshot of that too.
Oh no!
I was thinking the same thing.
I didn't see this.
Before you go, Craig,
is it the?
It was like,
okay, can I show off my my show tell and gift pretty quick? Down back home.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, do your thing, man.
Again, buffer. Sorry, it was loud. I don't know why my mic went off. I'll be quick. So I guess I stayed on the bus. I didn't really get much for Christmas, because I don't know why. The only worthy thing I got is this tablet. I had a Lenovo tablet, but now I have a Samsung Galaxy S7 tablet. It's much more better than my last tablet, so it's pretty good. And for show and tell, hold on, I think I can make it. It's right here. Give me a second.
while he's doing that, I'll do part 2 of mine. I opened the Elgato.
Oh, nice.
And this thing is a big boy. Like here,
it's a chunky boy, yeah.
Compared to an iPhone 11 Max Pro. So that
is that an internal one or an external Elgato?
External.
Wow.
It has an SD card slot, like so we can record directly into the SD without needing to be connected to a computer. But it can be connected to a computer and then has a pass through out to the TV as well.
That's the one I got too, Matt.
But the size difference, this is an iPhone 8s.
Yeah,
or 8 Plus.
His smaller one is the one that I used when I streamed Dragon Quest today.
No, I'm just saying, just the size of your new one compared to this thing is ridiculous.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, really quick. Since we're talking about retro, sorry.
Of our streaming equipment now. This is the AverMedia.
Lay it on the table.
Okay, sorry about that, Mecca. Go ahead.
No, since we're talking about retro games, I guess I can show off my EverCards that's in my shelf, like these things.
Yeah.
I have the NES one, which I haven't really used yet because my clone console doesn't really run it very well. So eventually when I have some spending money, I want to get the AVS NES, the more fancier AVS. It's not the one analog makes, because the analog one is like 600, and I don't want to spend 600 on an NES.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can afford that eventually. I wish I could show you my new desk, but I can't really show you that.
You did share the pictures on it. You have a cool desk setup that you shared that I like. So that's cool that you got that for Christmas. That whole setup.
I bought that, but I'm just glad I got the tab. Well,
Christmas gift to yourself then, right?
Yeah. Well, I showed a birthday gift that I gave to myself. So yeah, you're good, man.
Oh yeah, my birthday's pretty good too. Yeah.
All right, guys. You have a good night. It was good talking to you. This is a lot of fun.
Have a good night.
Appreciate you
Good night,
guys.
Antonio.
Peace.
I think I'm also going to bail with Antonio. But thanks for hosting, Tim, and
no problem.
Everybody that is listening on the stream, be sure to hop over and donate for Gaming for Guru.
Yes,
help that
and
guy.
we're at $14,200 right now. So thank you for everybody who's been pitching in there. Again, we're hoping to get to 15,000 before we hand it off to the next group. Jesse, do you remember who's supposed to be getting it after Marty?
Marty's from 1 to 7, and then our 24-hour block is done.
Right. I mean, do you remember who's getting it?
I don't know about all the other
Okay.
content creators for
Because
Saturday
I know
and
they're all
Sunday.
doing their.
Yeah, I didn't get that sheet that like Mason and I think Marty both have, and they were able to pop it up on a schedule. I didn't get that.
So
Okay.
I think Xbox Drive hops on at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
And
Sunday night.
Who's Sunday night?
I am Sunday night at 9.
Oh, nice. All right, cool.
I'll
Sorry,
try.
plug.
I'll try to stream a bit just to promote and the game of a guru, it's gonna be difficult because I don't have a lot of time, but I'll try and help out.
Hey, just
And have
have fun.
with you
and-
guys.
yeah, that's trying to just raise that awareness. So cool.
Before you guys go, can I give one quick sentence about the GameStop thing?
Oh, not everybody's going. Just a couple people. There's still people there.
Hi.
By the way, I'm sorry, real quick. I actually got to bounce. I got kids bouncing around upstairs at 1:30 in the morning. I got to get them back to bed.
All right, have fun and thanks.
That's part of the dad
Have
party.
fun with that.
Hey,
Those of you
Tim,
dropping
thanks for having me
things-
on. Thanks for everyone. Get you next time.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks for the wonderful picture.
Michael just showed me the soup downstairs from Seinfeld. It says no Nintendo Direct to you for you. Yeah, I have it to rotate random pictures on my cloud or something like that. No, but just to reflect back on the GameStop thing, I don't know. I feel like there's no way GameStop can like go out of business because then that would just ruin. Like then we won't have like a designated place to get games and whatnot. Like everyone knows. Basically,
Someone
like
would fill the void. I think. We just don't know what that would look like. Is it going to be one person even bigger, or one company even bigger, or many smaller ones?
The next biggest dedicated gaming store, to my knowledge, is Game Exchange, and they're very small. So.
There's no Game Exchange in New York City, I think, right? That's more.
Yeah, I remember when I lived in Minnesota. I remember seeing them around, but I haven't seen them around here in Kansas.
Oh, you live in Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas City area.
Sorry. Oh,
they're very different.
If I would have known, that would have made Carry On Wayway Sons.
Yeah.
We can see. Carry on my way, we'll just see. I'm sorry, I just got home. Sorry. It's been a long day, guys. I'm sorry.
That is true.
But yeah.
Oh, I don't have the same experience you guys have with the saturation of the market. Like in Canada, GameStop's EB Games, and there might be one like in 50 miles of here, and it's in a mall. And I know malls aren't a thing anymore with the pandemic. But I guess the challenge is that if GameStop EB Games wants to be that unique game retailer, the things they need to do to be unique and do things that other retailers don't do, can't do it while you're trying to not get COVID. Like, they want to be a lounge or a place where you can sample or play games or try them out or just hang out and make a community in your store. You can't do that, and who knows how long that will be.
Yeah, that's why I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it off and on over the years about, if I wanted to start a business, what would I want to do? And I was most normally land on some sort of like arcade operation. But, you have a whole bunch of machines that attract people that everyone touches. This isn't the best time for that.
I'll
feel
be
really
honest,
bad
though,
because there's a place.
I can barely remember the last time I walked into a GameStop to buy a game. And when I did, I'm pretty sure it was because I had store credit that I needed to use. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there. I mean, the trade-ins were the only thing that got me in there the last several years. And beyond that, I do more and more of my shopping online these days. I think that's just the way a lot of things are headed. And especially so when it comes to games for someone like me that's a hobbyist, because I know what I want. I don't need to browse. I don't need to go look at the shelves. Like, I know Super Mario 3D World is coming out, and I want it. There's nothing GameStop can do to me to assist me in that transaction.
Yeah.
Just reserve a copy for me. That's it.
It kind of makes it one.
Digital or physical, I still do most of it online. I just have it shipped to me.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, do people prefer like instant gratification? Like, with GameStop, I could just go ahead and pick it up, versus Amazon, where I have to wait like a day or two for your game to come in, especially if it's delay and whatnot. So that's another thing to think about too.
No, I buy everything physical, and I get it all. I pick it up at Best Buy the day of. I never order my stuff off Amazon. They ruin so many orders.
Yeah,
I've been mostly digital for probably 10 years now, and even before that, I would pre-order from Amazon and get release day shipping, and that was I've never had a problem with them back then. The 10, 15 years ago, and where I lived, it was like early delivery from UPS, so I would have it before 9 a.m. But now I don't.
You never ordered an amiibo from them, have
you? This was pre-amiibo. But
okay.
but now where I live, I'm lucky if I get a UPS package that I'm expecting before 8 p.m.
You wanna know something funny, Jesse? I made a promise to myself that if Scott Pilgrim ever comes physical again, I'll just go straight to digital because everyone acted like that was like the game where like
which game?
Why the Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Which just came out because everyone uses that game as an example of like digital games should not be the future because everyone loved that game and now no one can play it. But now that it's back on, it kind of gives some faith for other digital games to come back and stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah, well,
that argument's mostly for like stuff that nobody cares about but would be nice to play. There's tons of games that are just locked on an N64 or a Sega Saturn that we'll never ever see. So what about those games? It's like
people don't care about it until they can't have it.
For Dragoon stock. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I mean,
so
counterpoint though, like if you look at the PC space, like it's been all digital for quite some time now, and the very first game I ever bought on Steam, I can still re-download, even if it's not listed on the store. Now, I don't know if I can count on that indefinitely.
For now.
But, I mean, you can't count on physical copies being around indefinitely. They're not for sale indefinitely. And, disc rot is a thing.
Also,
cartridges
updates
wear out.
Some games require like heavy updates, like the bio. Well,
And even then, there's the hardware, which you may not have access to.
Oh yeah, and it might be hard to connect.
But
like,
at least I have control over how I take care of my hardware and my software. If it's up to EA to keep the servers running, then that feels like, well, why bother buying anything digital at that point?
Well, if you're talking about servers, but if it's a download, it's on your hard drive.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
again, last
you can
week,
argue how easy is it to preserve something on a hard drive versus on a cartridge. Cartridge is probably going to last a lot longer.
Hard drives
but
still
you
fail
can
too.
also make copies.
But what about those times, those games where it might be on your hard drive, but it still has to connect to a server or whatever to verify or whatever else? I mean, you hear about that
well,
too.
And that's an issue even if the game is on a cartridge, because there's games that are on cartridges that need to do that. Physical doesn't save you there. That's a problem.
Right. What we're talking about is preserving a game digitally versus preserving a game physically. If there's any element of that physical game that requires a digital download, then it's the same thing as being digital in my eyes.
Right.
So everything PS4 forward is screwed for preservation.
I don't know if I'm not this related to the conversation, but I just saw a news article. Apparently, the physical release of Scott Pilgrim is like the biggest sale for limited run right now. That's insane.
I'm not surprised, with how much press coverage that had when it got delisted the first time. People remember that.
I went and got it digitally though again.
So did I.
Yeah, I picked up tomorrow.
How much is it digitally?
And just
15.
the markup.
It was $15,
physical.
and I had like
Yeah.
$8 in gold coin, or whatever, the gold point things, and so it didn't cost me that much. And
I mean,
I
just
used
now,
some
of
of
course,
my
now
eShop
I'm
Christmas
saving
money
back
for
up
it
because
too.
I just
get it physical without all the extras is twice the price. I mean, it's just
right.
That's a much harder sell to me.
I typically I'm a physical guy. Whenever possible, I will do physical. But when it comes to like this limited run games and that kind of stuff, number one, I don't know if it'll ever come, and even if I can get in a pre-order, I don't know when it'll ever come. From what I've heard.
Well, at least limited run games lately, it's not like trying to buy a PS5 where there's a fixed limit or an amiibo where there's a fixed limit. This just if you want it, put your name in this on this list. We'll get you one.
Yeah, but I still
told
heard people waiting for like a year for
I'm not saying that they're fast about it. They're just saying that they will make as many as they need.
Better than trying to buy a PS5 right now.
My friend told me he's gonna wait till he gets the physical game for Scout Program. I'm like, do you realize how long these people take to ship the game out? Like it took me like almost a year to get I think my Wonder Song Collection edition. They take forever to release those things.
So this is I know not everybody can do this, but this is a situation where I made the choice to buy 2 copies. I have a digital copy that I can play right now, and my second copy is the $35 one. There's some games I would buy a $150 copy for, like if they had a premium edition of Metroid Prime re-released, I would probably do something and spend $150 for that. But this one wasn't doing it. I just wanted a $35 copy that Limited Run was providing, that standard edition, so I could have it on cartridge when it becomes available. Because one of the things I do like about Limited Run is, if I understand it correctly, is the reason why it takes so long is because they're making sure they have the most up-to-date version on that cartridge.
That makes sense, and I think that for games that you really care, I never got a chance to do the Scott Pilgrim the first time it was out. So I love the genre and I enjoyed the movie. So this time I decided I'm jumping on, but I don't have that nostalgia for it where I necessarily, if I get to play through it, is it a game I'm going to feel like I want to go back to again 20 years from now? I don't know. It's different as opposed to like the Super Mario Brothers 3, which you can't get anywhere, except for on the original hardware, right?
Side note, when I tried to order the Scalper thing this morning, I was like, oh, just get the nice edition, the Ultimate edition. Then I saw it was like $400. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get the regular edition instead. Because they had like a huge bundle with all the cool stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. How much was it? It's like, damn, that's like the most I've ever seen Limited Run ever sell anything. Like $400 for all that stuff. I thought it was like at least 100 or 200.
The only game I've ever bought or pre-ordered, I haven't received it yet from Limited Run Games, is the Shantae reprint, Game Boy Color.
Yeah, should I go?
I just looked and it says that their estimated ship is Q1, so hopefully I'll get it by April. And I got like the standalone box, and then I got one of their collector's edition boxes. I don't remember what's all in it, but my plan is to have, that standalone. I'll just keep that sealed, and then I'll still have the other one I can open and play.
When I was thinking about Limited Run, I think were you guys disappointed that Limited Run is the ones doing the physical and not like Ubisoft or something like that? Because I saw a tweet about that, how like, sure, it's in physical now, but remember, this is Limited Run. It's gonna be hard to find these games anyway. So it's like, what's the point if like it's gonna be hard to get these games, or maybe sell for a high price anyway?
Well, they do have their thing with Best Buy as well. So I don't know if they're gonna have that standard version at the Best Buy stores, but it is a possibility that they will have it at Best Buy.
I mean, it's still like, I want the game to at least be able to be purchased like in a year or two, and I don't think they keep those Limited Run games in this.
Right, just buy it now.
For a while.
Yeah, you got it digital.
Yeah, well,
get it digital.
I don't think that Limited Run gets first dibs. Obviously, if Ubisoft wanted to, they could have. They just chose not to save the money.
Those Switch cartridges are expensive, y'all.
Yeah.
And if Ubisoft doesn't think they're going to be able to sell a certain number, then they're not even going to bother. They're like, no, we're going to make our money digitally. So, Limited Run, if you want to do it, go ahead. But,
just think
we're going to get our cut and whatever.
Just think back at Xenoblade and the Wii. Nintendo America said this isn't going to sell. We're not paying for it. And finally, GameStop finally ponied up the money to be the publisher, and then they were the sole provider of the games, and then that caused other problems.
What game? EA? Wait, sorry, what game again, Jesse?
Xenoblade on the Wii.
Oh yeah, the one that were like $50 used. Yeah.
No, well, $50 new, but you couldn't find any new ones. But they would sell you a used one for $100.
That doesn't make any sense.
Isn't that where they got accused of unwrapping some of the new ones?
Yep.
And selling them as selling them as used for more.
And then I actually
Doesn't
heard.
that say a lot about
I heard.
circle.
I heard one story that it's not the store doing it themselves, but say an employee buys it from the store at 50 and then sells it to the store at 70 as used, and now the store can resell it as 100 because it's used. I'm like, it's still not right.
No.
Going back to GameStop, I really hope they axe out that Circle of Life fiasco. Do you guys remember that whole thing?
What's this?
You know the thing where like if they don't sell enough products, they could get fired or kicked out. The Circle of Life thing, I think they happened. You guys remember that? It was like a whole controversy a few years ago in GameStop.
I'm not familiar with that.
Well, I'm not surprised because of other stories I've heard about them. But
because I think the reason why they push sales on people like that is because if they don't get their quota, their store can get in trouble. That's what it basically is.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get enough pre-orders, then your store might be closed or anything like that. Like
that's why employees hate it there, and that's why we get bad customer service. So they did it to themselves.
Well, they got. I mean, they got under fire when the pandemic started, and they were claiming that they were,
essential business,
essential, and were refusing to close, and were providing very little protection for their employees, and said you're basically working or you're fired, or
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, not good.
I wanted to go back to the physical digital thing for a bit, but because something Tim said about getting a digital and a physical copy, and obviously I know the objection to this would be you'd need some potentially more sophisticated kind of DRM to keep people from doing it. But I mean, I just thought, like, I've bought an album before, a CD that I had shipped to me, and when I bought it, I also received a download link that gave me MP3 files.
This isn't recorded.
So comic books have been doing that too.
There's definitely precedent for being like, here, you can get 2 copies, because that is a fully legal thing. You can even, as I understand it, it's fully legal to create a backup copy of software you own. Now you can't distribute it to someone else, because then you're violating copyright. The issue is really just in providing both of those. Say they give you a download code for the digital version, and they ship you the game cartridge. Obviously, you want to prevent a situation happening where I can do that, and say it's at a reasonable price or just a small markup to get both copies. You want to prevent a case where once I have the card, I just give the download code to someone else or sell the download code to someone else would be the real concern.
And that before too.
But I mean, there's ways to manage that. I mean, that's why DRM exists. I know people hate DRM, but
I mean, I remember when your iTunes library or your songs were on your PC. If you loaded up any physical CDs you had in your computer, it loaded them into your iTunes library. And it was just like owning, and you could play it on your MP3 player, Apple, your iPods or first generation iPhones.
Hey guys, I gotta bounce. It's getting a little late for me. But I love talking about this stuff with you guys, like digital versus physical versus retro, and what's the future of it and stuff. So I definitely want to keep that going, and I hope everybody checks out Retro Logic when we start doing Retro Rewind. So, and also hashtag Gaming for Bobby. So all that stuff.
Yes.
I missed that. So are you guys? So we're not doing Retro Rewind on the dinner table anymore, just on your podcast?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be. I'll let Tim fill you in because I gotta go, but it's not a bad thing. It's gonna be a good thing.
Good night,
That's
Dan.
okay.
Good night. Thanks again.
Good night,
Bad
guys.
part.
So
I'm gonna take this opportunity to jump off too because I need some sleep. But
all right,
I, for
Sam.
one, welcome our new
Sleep is for
clock
the weak.
overlords.
Yes. And well, good night,
Get
Sam.
well soon, Bobby. Get well soon.
Yes, and we're still at $14,200 for the gaming for Guru, and we're getting close to Marty eventually. I think coming on. He said he would be coming on around 1 Central. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out when he gets in, because he could be, he's got to get up early and keep going. So we'll see how it turns out. And I was hoping he'd be able to stop by as well. But
I have to stick around for a sports ball conversation. Then.
Yes.
Is this still live, or you ended the stream already?
No, we're still
the
live.
stream's going.
Still going, man. All right.
Yeah, man. But what do we say about the retro logic and the?
I was just getting to get to that.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's what I was about to say, was going back to that. One of the announcements we made at the beginning, because we usually do that during appetizers, is the retro rewind. And we talked about what we played last couple months, which was Super Mario Brothers 3. Yep, everybody was talking about that and their experiences with it. We had a lot of people talk about it last month, and then we had some more talk about it this month, and then we went into how Retro Logic is now going to be taking that over, because they're the experts at the retro games. So, and they have seems like the most fun with it. Even though a lot of us here do, and don't get me wrong about the other Nintendo dads about how they play, it's just, again, we all have our day jobs, so our day jobs don't include playing video games all day, unfortunately. So
I wish
we have limited time, so that's why we can't play retro games and new games.
Rethink your priorities, Tim. You gotta reprioritize your life. Come on.
Their Price of Right game is pretty fun, especially with the.
It is. And that's the thing. It's basically we want them to take it over. We wanted them to take it over because we want to take Retro Rewind to the next level. Because that opens it up to basically the idea of Retro Rewind was to share with the community retro games that we all could play together for about a month's time and then come back and discuss about it. And with Retro Logic, what they do is basically they've kind of done the same thing, especially with the Mega Man run that they did there.
I think Warford does something similar with his co-host. Like one of them is playing Psych Bike right now, and the other one's playing
Yep, that's a different thing they were doing, but yes, they challenge each other to play different games, retro games. But again, you listen to their show. Everybody else who hasn't yet, if you're into retro games, definitely check out Retro Logic and their podcast and their shows and their Discord. They have a lot of cool stuff going on in the Discord as well. And if you're into retro games, definitely check them out. It's a cool place to go to, especially being a retro game lover. And they'll give the Retro Rewind the attention that it needs going forward. Not saying we didn't, but I think, again, giving it more attention and especially spreading the love from beyond Nintendo, because we're Nintendo dads. We kind of hang around Nintendo more, where Retro Logic opens it up to be not just Nintendo, but Sega, PlayStation, whatever's the, and Xbox even, so it opens it up to retro games for everybody.
more of a question for Block 4, but I wonder what this limit to retro is, since it's always growing every year. What the cutoff is for retro? Technically,
it's whatever they deem, it's whatever the community wants to do, and that's what that's what Retro Logic is all about. It's the community, and they'll make the decision on what the cutoff is when they need to.
Well, people mentioned the fun game that they do, Price is Retro.
Price is Retro.
Price is Retro, yeah.
They let people in the community submit lists as well. So I put in the NHL, of course, an NHL 94 theme list.
That you? That was like $40 for all that stuff.
I heard that one.
Where it got really depressing is that these they're not nearly as valuable as I thought they were.
That was the closest though I've ever gotten to playing that. I was only $2 off. Normally, I'm not even close.
I think
But when you did that, I was like, oh wow, I actually I was actually pretty close. I did a list too of just random Super Nintendo games that were sitting on my shelf. So they're a fun community.
kind of want to try them myself, but I don't know. Take a bunch of my favorite games and see how much they're actually worth, and then put on some random obscure game in there too. That'd be a nice thing to ask.
It's actually a good idea that you do know what they're worth, especially for insurance purposes. That you make a list and you have it stored somewhere so that if anything, knock on wood, if anything were to happen, you don't want it to happen, but if it does, it's covered by your insurance.
But I think I asked you guys a long time ago. You guys don't collect retro games. You don't, right?
Sometimes. I mean, like I have these that I was showing off earlier. I got these. So
I'm the opposite. If I'm going to buy a retro game, though, it's out and it's played.
Yes.
I won't. I can't do that. I can't have it in a bag somewhere sitting on a shelf. I have to.
Well,
in November, I cracked open my Super Nintendo. I actually put a few hours into A Link to the Past.
If I had a Super Nintendo, I would be playing these, but I don't. So that's why they stay in the bag, and they'll probably get in a case, and they'll go on back on the shelf.
I still have my Retron 5 on the floor over here.
That's what I need to get. I need to get something like that because I have my Super Nintendo, I have my Nintendo, I have all that stuff in my 64. It all works, but it doesn't look great on a modern TV.
Yeah,
so I'd really like some hardware that I can connect to. I still have an old TV.
I can't fit an old TV in this room.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I have one, but it's tucked away. It's not in the most comfortable spot to sit and play for any length of time. Like so I really need to invest in some hardware that plays. That I can hook up one thing to the TV, but I can play. They make one that plays Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, something like that. Well, yeah, I've got the minis.
Why would I need to break out the cartridges or get an actual system if I can play it on here? I can play it on my Switch. I can play it on my 3DS.
Well, because there's something about playing. There's something about playing those physical cartridges though sometimes. And you can't play Plock on there. Well, I mean, not the way it comes anyway. There you go. That's why right there.
Quick note about the Retron 5. It's kind of like emulation based instead of like hardware based. So you still need the cartridges, but like from what I've read, it extracts the ROM onto the system and then it plays it through that. That's why you can't really play like flashcards on it. Which is why I got this thing because apparently this is more cartridge based.
And what is that one?
It's the Retron 3. The Retron 3. It's like
I want something that also plays like Game Boy and stuff too. I know that they exist. I just
well, the 5 can, but again, that's by emulation. So the device will rip the ROM off and play it.
Don't even get me started Game Boy because the other day I remembered it's been months since the Analog sold their Pocket and they still haven't restocked. Like what the hell?
Because when before Dragon Quest XI came out, I played Dragon Quest 1 on the Retron because I was streaming it, and that was how I got it to HDMI so I can connect it to my streamed system.
That's what I want. Just something I can hook up one system and still play all these cartridge games. Because I do. I mean, not that I don't have the collection that John had that we could see in his background or Dan or anything, but I still have a stack that there's just sometimes there's nothing like pulling out that cartridge, popping it in, and being able to play it.
Another weird caveat
I imagine this is why Dan came back in, but he did point out on in our stream that Google the term RetroLink, or RetroTink, for getting your old stuff looking good on a TV.
RetroTink?
RetroTink?
Yeah, that's the one. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You came back, yay!
But I heard you guys talking on Twitch, and I was like, no, please, oh my gosh. Okay, listen. The Retron stuff is really good if you just want one system to play all your stuff, but it's not going to play everything.
Gotcha.
It's not going to play N64. It's not going to play GameCube. What the RetroTink does is you still have to hook up your old hardware. It will make your older systems look a lot better on an HD TV.
Does that include NES? NES. Does that include NES systems?
NES. Anything with an RCA input, it gives you an RCA input and an HDMI output. So it's not as elegant because you still have to hook up your old systems, but it also means that there's no compatibility issues. You use the same controllers. So that's what I would go with personally, but I have all my retro stuff hooked up. That's just my 2 cents in that. I'm gonna leave again.
I was gonna say, I still have a TV that has all the inputs for everything, even the coaxial for the Super Nintendo.
I do too.
So
I just don't think it looks that great anymore.
I can deal with that.
I have this contraption thing. It's all like, it's a, what do you call it? Composite.
Oh, I've explained what I had to do to get my Intellivision to connect to HDMI to stream.
Yes. So there are things that you can buy to hook up those old systems to an HD TV and make them look good.
Well, I mean, and I do have that, and I prefer to use the original hardware, but my original hardware is original hardware.
Yes.
And you know,
they're getting older.
And it takes me a little longer to get that Nintendo working well. Every time it takes a little longer. And that original hardware is, I feel like it's getting harder and harder to find for decent price, and that's only going to. So yeah, I don't know. I'm with him though. I'm going to look into that RetroTink stuff because that sounds great. Especially then if you works for 64, works for everything. So
yeah, it looks like it's a $90 unit, like the 2X Classic. Looks like it supports both composite and component. I don't know.
I mean, for 64, you could probably get who makes the GC HD thing? The Eon, I think, right?
Yeah, it'd just be nice to buy one thing that you could hook up to multiple.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think I'll get it myself eventually. So we can connect to all the old systems. All right. That's useful. Hopefully I can get that one day whenever I start collecting games and stuff. Whenever
I will tell you that the one system that I was this close in buying, but I didn't, well, because it sold out pretty quickly, was I think you mentioned this brand before, Mecha Dragon, but it was the
Analog Pocket.
Yeah, the Pocket one, yeah.
Yeah, I was complaining because they still haven't restocked that, and I really want one. It sold out like in 10 minutes.
It is, yeah, the Analog Pocket just is really cool looking Game Boy.
Why'd you get it? Why'd you end up getting it?
I didn't get it.
Yeah, why? You want to?
Well, because they sold out before I could press the button. Because I actually had it in the cart, and I was like, because it's $200, and that's just for the system. But they also have a dock system where you can dock it and be able to plug it up to a TV, which is cool. But it was like, do I? I don't know.
I really want to get analog systems because they seem like very high quality, but they're so expensive. Like, why are you?
They're expensive because they're not doing emulation. They're actually the closest thing to the real thing that you're gonna get. So
I just don't know why they're shipping so much money. Like, I tried to get the NT. It was like, oh, this is like less than $200. Maybe I'll get it. And then the shipping was like 30 or something. I was like, why is this shipping so much money?
It's heavy. It's made of aluminum. It's made of metal.
This desk was free shipping. So they can order this desk for free shipping. They can send a small Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I won't tell you how much it costs to ship my arcade machine.
It's because they don't have a deal with the shipping. They're not shipping a bunch of things to be able to cut the cost down. So, or have a deal with, say, UPS or USPS or FedEx.
Plus, I really wish they would just like re-release a NES that's not like $1,000, because that was like the first one they made, the analog, whatever the NES version is called. But it's like $500, and what kind of madman will spend $500 on a NES system?
You made me remember too that with the analog pocket, they also had adapters, so you could play the Sega handheld systems on it too.
And then they recently announced they're gonna make a TurboGrafx system. Like, who the heck cares for TurboGrafx?
There's
Oh, yeah.
Marty.
Yeah.
Marty.
There's definitely a market for those. That TurboGrafx is actually, I
wanted one of those
Yeah.
things when I was a kid.
Well,
think
yeah, I
most
mean,
people-
they can't be much more expensive now than they were then. I mean, they were really expensive back then.
Yes, they were.
I feel like most people are nostalgic for TurboGrafx, and people have Wii's because it was on the Wii when they launched for the Virtual Console. Everyone remembers that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah, all those TurboGrafx games. Yeah, you can get that way.
Yeah, I think I got the Yeez 1 and 2 book thing.
The tech at the time for the TurboGrafx was just amazing. It blew my mind as a kid or a teenager, you know, because it was, you could play the card in the home console, yeah, and then you could play the card on the portable console.
I don't know, man,
So
it keeps looking like it's. I got the mini basically. It's kind of
Yep.
cool.
and that's what I liked about the TurboGrafx was the ability to be. It was like, you know, the Switch before the Switch. You know, because you could take the same card and play it in a home-based console, or you played it in a portable console.
Just I know that.
Yeah, it was the Turbo Express, right? TurboGrafx
Yeah,
Express.
yeah, you're right.
That was the
It was a
handheld.
separate. It was a separate
Yeah,
device.
there were two separate devices. It was just the
Right.
handheld. You could play the same card in the TurboGrafx Express, which is why it was so doggone expensive, because you're playing, you know, 16-bit graphics in the handheld at the time, and then you could take that same game card and plug it into the TurboGrafx console.
I think
But
Genesis
both
has
units were pretty expensive, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was pretty crazy. I know one person growing up who had the system, but did not have the portable.
I think Marty said that he had them both. I think he did. Because he said he was a spoiled
Pretty
kid.
impressive.
He did admit he was a spoiled kid, so.
I wonder if Block Force Store sells systems. Maybe we can get an NES console from him or something.
He's had systems on there before.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's had an NES yet, but he's got consoles.
Every now and then I'll look and see if anybody's selling them in my area. I did come across one, and I was like, wow, this one's in great shape. It didn't have the discoloration or anything like that, but they took pictures of it close up, and I saw they painted it. That's why it looked so great.
Oh.
I was like, that's okay. I don't want it painted.
But it's dishonest.
What's that?
Smart, but it's dishonest.
Yeah, well, it looked great from a distance. I'll tell you that, because I was like, "Wow, that's in great shape for how old that thing is." It's a Super Nintendo. And then, of course, they had the close up, and it was just like you could see the paint strokes. It wasn't even sprayed on; it was just like paintbrushed.
Sorry, you can go, Jesse.
I was going to say that's part of going back to the EB Games GameStop discussion was they offer trade-in, so that there's the benefit. You can trade in your old games if you wanted to get something new, but then the flip side is that then they have to do something with those games. So people who wanted old games, you could buy used. Now, infrastructure to buy a used game is just so much more accessible to anybody, because if I wanted to sell some of my collection, I have a number of sites where I could go sell it for free. I mean, I'd be responsible for the sale, and I'd have to ship it or get it to the person who wants to buy it. But I'm not taking a markup usually. I'm just selling it for whatever I think it's worth or what someone will pay for it. Whereas some place like GameStop, if they buy a game from you, they're going to probably not pay you as much for it. Then they're going to mark it up to try and take their piece of the pie. So me, if I'm looking to collect or buy something used, I'm going to find it cheaper almost always. a direct sale from somebody on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something.
There used to be a site called Glide. I don't know if anybody here used it before, but it was essentially a site on there that basically talked about what you talked about doing, but also sounds like GameStop could eventually be doing. But basically, it was you go to a site, you listed the games that you wanted to sell, and they would then send you the package that you would put it in to be able to send it to the person who bought it from you. So they handled it and they labeled the packaging for you. All they did was just send you the box or whatever, the container. You slide it in there and then you send it, and then you make your money. And they got, of course, a percentage. But yeah, hey Marty,
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Marty's here so we can start talking about sports ball.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Mario looks like that. Mario looks just so much like a gamer dad right now. His headset on like that.
He's got such a serious look on his face. Can you hear us, Marty?
Sports ball.
I don't think he can. He would have reacted by now.
Yeah, I know. It's Marty.
All right, guys. I gotta jump off here. I can't believe I wasn't even gonna get on at first because I only got 2 hours of sleep last night, and here it is. It's like 2 a.m. So
I told you we would talk. You wouldn't even notice that you were up this long.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, guys.
Good night, Spidey.
We're on lockdown in Ontario. I have nowhere to be.
I don't know how much time we have left, but can I mention one quick thing about Super Mario 3 since I want to cover everything we did today?
Yeah.
I'll be quick. Long story short, Super Mario Brothers 3, great game. I love it. I beat it on the Game Boy Advance, and a fun tip about the game. Apparently, when you get the mushroom, it goes the opposite direction of you. Something I learned about it recently. So if you try to get a mushroom, it goes away from you. But no, it's good. I love the game.
I played it on the Advance too. That's why I was talking about it when I played it with the e-reader. Did you have the e-reader or no?
I know. I wish I had it as a kid, but I never had it growing up. But the Wii U version had all the e-reader levels unlocked anyway, so that's kind of cool. You had the e-reader. It sucks because people act like no one heard of it. It's like I heard of the e-reader. I remember the commercial vividly.
Yeah.
But
I love that little thing. Hey Marty, can you hear us now?
Yes, I'm gonna cut you off. But
we can't hear you now. Are you muted? Doesn't look like you're muted on Discord, but your headset.
Basically,
I don't know what's going on.
Like whatever the settings are you use in Zoom, you'd have to put into Discord for this to work.
I guess this is Marty's here.
Hey, Marty's just trying not to talk about sports ball.
The stream is ended for Marty to come on?
No. We're still going, Mecha Dragon. Don't worry about it. We got it.
Nah. How long is the off topic?
What about now, guys? Can you hear me?
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
It lasts as long as people are around to talk.
Yep.
That's cool. I mean, look, I'm just up here making coffee and eating these really old donuts. Seriously, I'm here at my office, and so we run a food pantry out of the church, and they gave me some donuts, and I don't know how long these have been in existence, but they're okay.
Does it say they make you stay at your office past 2 a.m.? That's insane.
I have to. This is the only place I get good internet. So
they just
they don't make me stay here. I come here voluntarily.
Oh, yes. I guess you could come in whenever you want to. There's no guard be like, why are you here at 4 a.m, sir?
He has to sleep under his desk.
Yeah, I've got a cot right here.
Don't bring in the bomb sniffing robot like in Seinfeld.
Right. Yes.
I mean, to be fair, that's something apparently game developers do. They just sleep in their offices. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to make games, and one of the people were like, they work like hell making games, and I had to sleep in their offices and whatnot. I was like, oh, thanks for ruining my dreams.
This is just Nintendo Dad's crunch. That's all it is.
There you go.
Yes, there it is.
I thought they were going to put one of you guys on the board at EB Games.
They should.
GameStop. I thought Marty was definitely in line for one of those spots.
No, we're going to give that to Tim.
Yeah,
kind of
they'll
cut
give
off there, Marty. What were you saying?
give it to the new guy.
I'm sorry. I said we're going to give that to Tim. We're going to let him be the guy.
Oh, by the way, how long are you guys going to sell those Gaming for Guru shirts for? For the whole weekend?
Oh yeah.
all weekend long.
I think it's actually going for another week, right, Tim? Because I think we're going to accept donations for another week. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
it's going through the end of January. The donations part is through all month long.
Oh, so the shirt is end of January. Wait, no. The shirt's another week. Donations end of January. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually. Yeah, guys doing good so far.
Marty, we were just talking about some systems that we were talking about, and I believe you mentioned that you had the TurboGrafx originally. Did you also have the Express?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did. I was that kid.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I was that kid that only liked video games. Like that was it. That's all I really liked. So
I mean, I like games too. When I was growing up, I never asked for toys as a kid. I just wanted games. Yeah,
I was real heavy into Transformers, and that gave way to video games. And then Transformers came back, but video games didn't go away until I was. I probably really fell out of gaming a little bit after the GameCube, but the Wii pulled me back in. So, like the GameCube era, there's games that I don't remember playing. Like there's a Wario game on GameCube that I have no recollection of whatsoever.
Shake It?
Shake It?
No, Shake It was Wii. There's a Wario Land, or maybe it's just Wario 64. I don't remember what the title of it is. But
what system?
For GameCube.
The only one was Micro Games.
Yeah, there was a WarioWare for GameCube. Yeah.
Now I had that. I remember playing that. But there's a Wario game too.
Oh, you mean Wario World? That one.
Wario World. That's it. Yeah, I never played it.
I forgot about that. What was that game?
I don't think I knew about that one.
I got a GameCube, and I got a GameCube in 2001, and then in 2002 I got married, and we moved and started working and all that stuff, and
life.
Right?
Yep. Life will get you until you.
But I also remember during that time that like the Game Boy Advance was way more important to me than the GameCube.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Being an adult sucks. I hate being an adult. I want to be a kid again.
Please, come on. Let's look.
So do my
Mecha
kids.
Dragon spitting the truth this morning.
Mornings? Yeah.
Tim, now that we got Marty on the stream, we can finally get him to weigh in on why NHL 94 is better than NHL PA 93.
Yes. Now you got
to. You want to know my reason? Because it's one number higher than 93.
Sports ball markets. That's what you're here for.
94 is greater than 93, so it must be better.
I mean,
I really do like that is. I will say this, Chris. All joking aside, is that is a blind spot for me as far as video gaming and life is sports. So I don't I can't speak to anything unless it is. Whoop! Hang on.
You just flipped cameras.
Sorry.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
I'm back now. Sorry about that. I've got this new desk set up for streaming, and I had to redo my cords. But like, there's a blind spot there that just in life, and like, I didn't grow up playing sports. I didn't grow up around people who played sports. My dad and mom did not. They were not sports fans. The closest I came to like liking sports growing up was my mom's dad, my grandfather on my mom's side, lived about maybe 1.5 miles or 2 miles away from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, Tennessee. And when we would go up visit sometimes, they would be playing football on Saturday night, and we would hear the cannon go off when they scored. And that was it. And I remember like being out in the yard being like, oh, This is a good thing. And then I played soccer for a season as a kid, and mainly just got hit with the ball in the face. So, yeah, and I had asthma growing up too, and it was pretty bad then. It's more manageable now, so I didn't play a lot. With no examples to watch it and no examples to play it, I just didn't grow up as a sports fan.
Don't get me wrong, Marty. I was this discussion with my son today. You know, sports with the pandemic being what it is, it's hard to get team sports together, and most of them aren't running right now.
Yeah.
So my son, I got an email from this golf program locally that's offering close league, so not super competitive golf for kids 10, 17. I said to my son, you know, we're kind of getting into golf, and it's something we can do during the pandemic because you're social distance. It's not a big deal. It was a pretty good offer. He said to me, Dad, I don't know. I'm not comfortable playing sports against people I don't really know. And I thought, that's all of them. Does that mean that sports aren't even sports?
I've said the same thing about Among Us.
My son's not going to be a sports person, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's not in it for the sport. He's in it for the social.
Local golf teams through the high school and things here have been able to play and have done pretty well. Right now, I mean, they played a full high school football season in the midst of the pandemic. They did a fall soccer season because we went to a game. It was outside, so we could go sit out, distance from people. But now they're playing basketball, and I don't really get how, this is going to sound biased, but I don't see how they're able to do that. Because, if I'm thinking about, close quarters sports, basketball is pretty close quarters, right? So, but the way that they're doing it is they've limited, only parents can show up to play. There's no, or can show up to watch. Only, there's no cheerleaders. There's no outside visitors. There's only referees, coaches, players, and parents.
Makes it kind of wonder how they're going to do the Super Bowl this year, where people still have the social distance and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Super Bowl's going to be commentated by SpongeBob SquarePants.
That'd be funny. Maybe they actually play the damn song or something.
Oh, that would be amazing. If SpongeBob was the halftime.
Yeah, so not Maroon
That'd
5
be
or
amazing.
I do think that I read now that I'm going to Google this. I think I read this week that they've already picked the halftime performer.
Weekend. They're from
the Weekend.
North.
Ooh.
I was going to say they should have Hatsume Miku, Callie Marie, and KK Slider.
Where did Tim drop out?
Do a virtual concert.
Nope, I'm still here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just I don't see your video anymore. Or no. Sorry. That's Mecha Drain. Sorry, Tim. Listen. It's 1:16 in the morning. I've had about 4 hours sleep.
Yeah. If you mouse over to where Mecha's thing would be, he's got an animated thing.
I see that.
It's
his pony.
And she'll look familiar.
It's Cinnabites. Oh. So I'm going to play some Splatoon here once I get kicked off. And then after that, it's going to be kind of like, whatever.
Yeah,
where are we?
Hitting a pillow.
Yeah.
So while you were off, we are up to $14,200.
No way.
Yep, that's where
awesome.
we're at. And I was hoping to get a little bit more. I kind of figured we wouldn't because it's getting late and people are dropping off. And, but we did get it. We did get a good boost, and we're probably gonna get some more because we just got started, right? So, and you're really helping to lead into the Saturday.
And other content creators haven't even started yet. So
yeah,
you guys deserve a lot of credit for both the Gaming for Guru and Extra Life. I know you've done that before, but just amazed how much the community supports it and how much effort it takes to be on all day and night. That's I give you guys a lot of credit for that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the Extra Life this year. It was amazing because of our community, but like the recovery from that this year was really bad. Like I don't know if it's just being older or that it just there was more emotion put into it or whatever. But I will say that like for me, I met my part of the goal like early on in the day, and so like as we got into this time of night, it was really hard to keep going because there was nothing happening. You know, like it was like we had a couple of people watching and no donations happening, and it was like, all right, well, we'll just keep playing video games.
Well, the funny thing was I donated a couple of times to Tim's Extra Life goal, and I used a credit card. So because it's an international transaction, we got all kinds of emails about, oh my God, is this money laundering? Did you mean to send this money over the border? And I'm like, donating to a kids hospital. God.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't that much money. Like honestly, it was. I'm not
right
here. Right.
I was trying to think. There was something that I ordered this week, or that came up on my account, and I got a text message. It's like my bank is like super hyper vigilant about it, and they'll shut down anything. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like
one of the first times I made a purchase in British pounds on a website, my bank had a fit. They're a little bit more lenient now. I think they realize that I do international shopping at times.
Oh, I know what it was the last time. The last time it was when Walmart had the misprice on the $70 eShop cards.
Oh, yeah.
And I ordered 2 of them, and they were like, fraud!
Well,
immediately.
Well, mine went through the bank. Walmart canceled them on me.
Walmart sent me 2 codes, buddy.
They canceled both of mine. I was upset.
So I got I pre-ordered Super Mario 3D World and Cyber Shadow.
Yeah.
And I've still got a bunch.
Yeah, so they took the money out of my account and then had to reimburse me because it was Walmart that canceled it.
I've had situations where it was I'm going to go buy something with my credit card, right? And I'm there, I'm swiping it and all that kind of stuff, and I'm signing for it, and it's normal stuff. I'm trying to think exactly what it was, but it's basically I'm there, I'm swiping it, and it gets stopped, and I have to call the bank to allow it to go through. I have to go through all this stuff. Like it's embarrassing to go through. And then not too far, it was a couple years ago, but in that same year, after having that happen so many times where they do it at the inopportune times, at the same time, I had to replace the card that year because somebody had stolen the card numbers and bought Walmart gift cards, $400 worth, and it was able to go through. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right.
I can't go to the store and buy something for, say, $200 at Best Buy because you guys are stopping it. I have to call you and say, yes, allow this $200 to go through at Best Buy. But if you see $400 worth of Walmart gift cards go through and you're like, oh, yeah, sure, let that go through. That doesn't ring any bells?
I think it's because they don't want to admit this, but I think it's because they have different agreements with different companies.
Yeah.
Jesse could tell us about that. But you work in you work in credit, don't you?
I do, but that's I don't know much about that aspect of the business.
Non-disclosure.
Well, I just don't know how a lot of that stuff works. I run one system. We have 500 other systems in the company.
Right.
Off topic, Dad. Thanks for the advice over the podcast in case you didn't see my message.
You're welcome, man. And like we said, if you want to want to try your hand, we've got the platform. We would love to have you.
We mentioned community stream. I
Oh.
think I was supposed to talk to Justin about that, but I haven't. I don't know if I should wait till I actually have experience before I mention it to him, or I could just ask him about it now. So, but you said
Tim
the
started
community-
when he didn't have any experience.
Yeah, that's
really?
what we were
I should
mentioning
have
on the show, right?
Oh,
Should have mentioned Tim for the show and tell. This arrived on the weekend.
Nice.
This is the extra like, prize that I want.
That's
You want
awesome.
that?
SpongeBob. I want it. No.
Well, guess what? We got another one.
Oh, nice. There we go.
We got
Awesome.
that box that they sent us yesterday was pretty nice.
Are we excluded from the prizes if I donate?
I don't believe so this time.
Okay.
Are we supposed to actually show it to? Does that be something game related, or could it just be anything we want?
What do you mean? What do you mean
Uh,
anything game related?
No, I
We
mean
took-
like the show and tell. Could it be something non-game related? That's all.
Yeah. As long as it's
As long as what?
as long as it's not Dad's After Dark, that's another show.
Right.
As long as it doesn't violate terms and condition terms of service.
Right.
I just here's something sexual, and then the stream ends right there.
Yeah, it's like bleep, we're offline. To answer your question though, we did talk about it with your question yesterday on the Nintendo Dad show. And I brought up the fact that how I started was basically using my Switch to record 30 seconds, a lot of 30-second clips, and then taking that off the SD card and putting it together and doing a voiceover on that.
Does she wish we had the update now when you were doing that?
Well,
that's still doing one video at a time.
Still 30 seconds.
You would have been
still.
better off taking the SD card out and ripping them that way.
Yeah, I would still done that way. Yeah.
I'm kind of confused. Do you play the game first then record, or do you just play the game while recording or something? I don't know. I think it's like
There's different ways. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. Because I've done it several different ways. It's one you can play it and talk at the same time, but it depends. Are you comfortable in talking about something like that at the same time? Can you multitask like that? I can't do so well at it. I may be doing a little bit better at it because I've been doing it more and more. And that's the thing is practice. And I think, Marty, you mentioned that too yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going and keep doing your favorite games and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was just, you can do it at the same time. You can record and then do the voiceover. You can write it down, like get your thoughts down, and then record video footage of what would go with those words that you're going to narrate. So there's all kinds of different ways you can go about it, and it also depends on the game too. In a lot of cases, depending on what style of game it is, maybe the style of how you present it in your review. So
yeah, I think like for me, I end up doing a lot of first looks, right, and let's plays, and so for a first look, I will sometimes that will be the very first time I play the game. It really depends on my time schedule as a person, but a lot of times I will at least boot it up one time to get familiar with how to get into a game, how it feels, and be able to have a couple of talking points as I play. Let's plays are a little bit different because I might be playing a game I already know about, or different things like that. But like, I think that in a first look or something like that, like it's important that there are some things that maybe take you off guard a little bit, or that you're experiencing for the first time. So I typically don't even put more than like 30 minutes or an hour into it before I play it. But I would say 90% of the time it is something that I have already at least launched one time so that I can be familiar with it.
See, almost all of my Let's Plays are they're almost always blind. 100% blind. I've never launched the app. I don't know what to expect. It just gives it, different personalities will handle them differently, and some people may or may not like that. I don't know.
How's your live stream, by the way, Jesse? My phone died in the middle of it, so I didn't get to see the whole thing.
well, like about the Dragon Quest game or something else?
No. Like the way you did today, the live stream you did today. How was it?
Oh, I thought it would. I thought it was good. I was hoping to get more into the action, and I only played it for about an hour and a half before Tim's time started. But there's a lot of talking in the early game. But I'm in the middle of chapter 2 now. I don't. Yeah, my first playthrough had over 12 hours in it, and I remember rolling credits, so the game isn't particularly long. So I'll probably will put a few more sessions in there to play it through again. I'm not going to live stream the rest of the game because that's a lot of setup in order to get the Wii U to boot into Wii mode, hope it works, and then stream it.
All right, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because I want to know which one of you guys, needs to respond to this Misty Wisty that we had come up in the chat here.
I've already bandhammered her, so
I know, but it was still hilarious. You beat me to it.
What's in the chat? I'm gonna check right now.
It was just somebody came in and was like, "Why don't you answer my text or calls anymore? You said you were sick. Well, I found your little podcast. Since you want to act like this, guess what? I'm due April 6th, 2021. The drama is hilarious. All right, Chris, you bring your drama.
This is all say. This is all I'll say. I know it's not me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't even know anyone named Misty. So
Misty Wisty.
I actually, I've got 3 kids and no more either.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know Misty. I just thought. Jigs up, Misty. Sorry.
Yep.
Got me.
I mean, I knew a Misty, but that was in high school. I don't know any Misty right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, we know who it is.
Mecca,
you need to go talk to Misty.
I got you remembers me. That was like over 10 years ago when I was in high school.
Misty with an I or Misty with a Y?
Who
spells it
Y? Who spells it like that? MYST? Mist? Like mist?
I don't know. But then now we're getting more dads up.
Yeah,
for sure.
it was hilarious just how really the people that come and spam your chats, and this was via YouTube, by the way, not via Twitch, but via YouTube, we got spammed there with this, like, what kind of response do you think you're going to get out of this other than us cracking up about it?
Congratulations. Muzzle top.
Yay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's when you're old friends, you just don't remember their names. I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I mean, a quick little search there shows that this is a streamer channel. So,
yeah. All right. Well, that was fun.
You know what they say about? I mean, you guys have a reputation, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but
ever since Dad's After Dark joined us,
Oh yeah. Well, it's
brings out the dark side of people,
This very well may be brought on by Dad's After Dark. So,
yep.
And we'll let them deal with it.
Yep, they'll handle it accordingly.
Come on.
All right, well, let's start wrapping up here because Marty, I'm sure, would like to be able to start taking over and get to that $15,000 mark that we were hoping to get to.
Well, that's what my hope is. That by the time I'm done,
yes,
that I will be able to say we've crossed the 15K mark.
I'll stick around for your live stream, Marty. Probably not for the whole thing because I had to get it up early, but
that'd be cool.
I'll try to stream tomorrow for the campaign for Game of a Guru. So
it'll be here all weekend long. You got plenty of time. Join in.
Just to make sure I get this right, when I stream, I just be like, "Oh, by the way, guys, make sure you donate to Game for Guru. Put the link in the chat room, and then be like, and that's it, right?"
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
all you got to do. And there are partner streams going on all weekend long.
Oh, you're gonna say what's your name, Chris? Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. I was gonna say, Mario, let me know when we're doing that online Streets of Rage 4 game.
I still gotta play
yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. It's probably going to be on up in the morning. I'm about to hit some Splatoon. because I at least want to participate in the Splatfest for just for the experience.
Can I just say something really quick? I hate how like they made a big deal about the final Splatfest, and then out of nowhere they're like, "Oh, we're gonna bring back Splatfest." I'm like, what's the point of calling the last one if you're gonna make more?
I give them a little benefit of the doubt because of I think they had to look at some things to be able to keep momentum going on a lot of their content, and they probably were like, you know what, we can easily just keep going and doing some events with that where maybe other events had to be shut down and they couldn't do.
I think it's a pandemic response.
Yeah,
they couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, Mecha Dragon, the Last Jedi wasn't the Last Jedi.
Exactly.
Grogu, best Jedi.
My line on that is I think that Splatoon 3 was in the pipeline, and without being able to put much momentum toward it, in the early pandemic, they had to pivot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think I don't know. I don't see a Splatoon 3 on Switch because I think 1v1.
Hush you! Don't mess with my don't mess with my prediction. Splatoon 3 is coming out this year. Doggone it!
We'll probably get a Splatoon spin-off at best. I don't know.
Hush! I said 3, not spin-off. Stop it.
2D Contra style Splatoon shooter.
I have a prediction for this year. I predict that. I have a
prediction for this year. Aren't Splatoon 3 related, are they? I hope you have a backup plan.
Oh yeah, I've got plenty. I had 10 different predictions there.
I have a prediction for this year. Hope
Tim wants all of my predictions to come true.
Yes, and I do want Jesse's all of his to come true, definitely, especially those Metroid ones.
What was that, Mecha?
No, I was saying my prediction is that Jesse will actually attend E3 this year. Hopefully, if it happens.
It's not happening this year.
Well, first,
this year.
I don't think it's happening this year. Second, if it is, I'm not planning on going this year. It's just too soon. I am going to shoot for a 22 run.
I mean, when you say too soon, do you mean because of COVID or because of the controversy they had?
COVID, mostly.
Yeah, I would say. I will say this. I'm going to try to shoot for a 2022 PAX East.
I think a lot of the plans that we had for 2020
are 2 years out now.
Yeah, they're going to be like in 2022 we'll most likely be doing that. So
well, I mean, just logistically, let me say this logistically, as someone who plans a lot of events where we take a lot of people to places, 2021 is incredibly up in the air. Like we normally do a summer camp every year in June, and by now I'm usually registering students for that and collecting deposits. We're not even doing that this year. Like we're even the group that does the camp has said, hey, we're putting off registration for 2 months to see how the vaccine thing goes and see where we are in March, and then we'll reevaluate. So like what they're basically saying is in March we're going to make a decision about June. So like we're kind of that kind of puts other leaders in limbo, and I've got people asking me, and I'm like, I can't, I don't know, I don't have anything to tell you. So I think we're in this really interesting. If you want to envision it as a tunnel, like I do, we're in an interesting part of the tunnel. Like we've traveled a significant part of the way through the tunnel, and now we see light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is getting closer, but we're still in the tunnel, right? We're still waiting.
And it's ultraviolet. It's not a visible spectrum yet.
What you're saying, Marty, is to be safe, we're going to postpone Nintendo DadCon 2024.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. By 2024, we're hopeful to have DadCon.
10-year anniversary.
Yep, at your house.
And with that,
at my house.
Or we can have it online. We can have it online.
Bring your tents. It'll be like Lollapalooza. It'll be great.
And with that, we'll end this by signing off like I usually do for every dinner table show, and that's with a toast. So if anybody's got a drink nearby, raise a glass or raise your cup.
Wampa fruit flavor. I have no idea
what this drink,
but I don't care. It's Wampa fruit flavor.
So, may your gaming time be plentiful and fun, your backlog short, and you and your families are blessed. And to add to this, Gaming Guru or Gaming for Guru, thank you all who's donated, and to Nintendo Guru, may you get well sooner than the doctors believe you will, and we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.
Bobby.
Good night.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Hope you feel better, Bobby.